Make sure my microphone's not muted. Yes, it's not. Welcome back, guys. We're back on the screen, and my partner in crime is here as well. Senor Pabs is finally back. Big shout out to Prezi as well for dropping 10 literally as soon as I hit the start streaming button. Thank you so much, Prezi. And just Pro Silver in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Welcome, welcome. And How's mate? Good to have you back, brother. How you been? Apart from ill.
Yeah, I'd honestly, if you just, I'm gonna choke on at some point this evening. It's been yesterday was just like a pure blessing that I've managed to get through it, but I was like literally down in the water in the honey and lemon. So yeah, last week was no fun, but it just hasn't gone away. But I think I can form whole sentences, mate. So we should be all right.
Yeah, so we've got quite a tasty game this evening. Obviously, with Div 2 now completed, we are back to Div 1. And oh wait, no, we did. I can't even remember. No, the grand final. I think they've still got to play the grand final, haven't they?
God damn it!
But we've done most of it. It feels like I've been doing Div 2 for ages because there were so many games that were coming through. But yeah, we've got Div 1 this evening. Winners round 1, and we've got Fluxx Emerald, who have got some players that we know pretty well in that we haven't casted for ages. Mr. Rutter, looking at you. And Iniquity Baby, obviously we know quite a lot of that roster. It's slightly different than what we're used to. But two really talented teams, obviously in Division 1 for a reason. So it should be a good game here between these two.
Yeah, should be fine. I think Rutter's a weird one because I think he's one of the first players I ever cast over. Esports Wales, I think was the second game I ever cast over. So yeah, a bit of an odd one, but yeah, good to see him and typical there. This team's usually good, so I expect them to pop off. And obviously we've got Cheerios and Milk right there and Big Kez, so I expect the pair of Kez and Scooty to do well. But I don't think I've cast over Pharamond. I think I saw his name pop up last week, and I was like,
that's Scooty. Is it Scooty or Scotty? I can never remember which one it is.
That would make more sense.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna change that
sure
now. I'm like, what? I knew his name had popped up over the last few days. No,
yeah, it's Scotty. Yeah, it's Scotty. This is the thing, I get confused with Scotty and Scooty, but yeah, it's Scotty is Pharamond.
It's even more confusing though when you don't get then they don't go by either name, which just leaves Lawson Cod. And is that someone that we need to? Is it actually Lawson, or are we talking?
I don't think I've casted Lawson before.
Because normally it's Higgy, isn't it?
Yeah, Higgy's not playing for these anymore, so I don't know. I don't think I've casted Lawson. I might have done a while ago in Cold War, but off the top of my head, I don't think
I recognise his name.
But we know the core of the players, anyways. I've said to Rutter, if I see a Rutter ego chow, I'm calling it out what it is. Like there's no in between. But just quickly as well, Mr. Blix wants one of those bad boys, and a big shout out as well to Brindy. And to Jess as well for the follows. And Greyman wants one as well. Bloody hell, Pabs were in for a long night of seas, apparently.
I can't remember who I was talking to. It could be. I would think I was in a chat somewhere, and someone had left your stream on in the background and went to do something. I think it was one of the nights you had 3 games on, and he said he didn't understand what was going on. All he could hear in the background was so over and over and over again. I was like, yeah, that was probably the first night that he did it.
Yeah. So everyone's right sides. We're starting to lobby up already, but our maps, for any of you guys who do not know, this is currently what we've got. We've got a nice Tuscan sandwich in between 2 bockages. Pablo straight back in the deep end, and at least we start off a bit slower with Billin on 1 and 5, but a bit of a mixed bag of maps there. But double bocage, we haven't seen that one for a while.
Man, I'm just dreading the day that we end up with more than 2 of these 2 bocages in a series. But yeah, I mean, bocage search and destroy, I guess you could say. Things that kind of like slow down a little bit, but it depends, I suppose, how the teams take it. But man, that's about as tasty a map set as you get. There's no weird maps. There's no desert sieges and no Demyansk, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's about as vanilla a set of maps as you're going to get. A nice Berlin hardpoint to start. Yeah, and just we'll soon see straight away who the more settled team is, I guess.
And quickly, the young phenom himself, Mr. F. dropping the gifted star, worthy of a few of those. Thank you very much, bro. Yeah, the never-ending season. But yeah, we've got this one starting very shortly, guys. We're just waiting on one more player, I believe. I think it's Lawson, actually, that we're waiting on. So we should be good to go for map number 1. You have a preference, Pabs? Stick the flag on with these two, or are we going in this one? Because it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? Obviously, we've not seen Fluxx Emerald play, and we've got a slightly different roster for Iniquity Baby. It's a bit of a broken one, so it's one that's...
I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to... I suppose you're going to have to go with Iniquity Baby, maybe. Just because we don't know anything about Fluxx Emerald. Yeah. It's a 3/4 of a solid roster, maybe. I don't know. See, you do this to me all the time and make me plant the flag really early on. So, as you know Rutter better than anyone else, you know what kind of players he surrounds himself. Where are you going to plant the flag?
I've seen Rutter's team look quite good, actually. And I think Higgy is a very big player for Iniquity Baby when he was on the roster. So yeah. Boys will hate me. Iniquity Baby and Prezi will hate me as well. He just dropped 10 gifted and I'm betting on the team against his. But hopefully, in their case, I jinx a lot of things anyways. So I'll go with Fluxx Emerald. we'll have to see how map 1 goes, to be honest, because I think Berlin normally is a good factor in a lot of these series that we do. If one team does very well in the Berlin, it's usually a case of, right, okay, obviously we're going into a blockage map 2, and it can be a case of like a coin flip for that one. But yeah, it's one where you never really know.
Blockage gives nothing away.
Yeah, the guys are saying, is there something wrong with Pablo's mic? I don't think so. Unless it's the I can hear
it
you
could
perfectly
just be my
fine.
voice.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the punchline. I'm waiting for the punchline.
Yeah.
Nobody else has mentioned it, so but yeah, we're just we're ready to go for map number 1, Berlin Hardpoint.
It's a little high. I'm just trying to get the advertising in, just down here. Yeah, get the show
just get the brand in.
Buy yourself an MV7X.
Yes.
10% off with the code Pablo Major.
Pablo Major.
Major Pablo.
Mablo.
Mablo.
Major or Mablo. Take your pick. Was there a petition? Which one is the best combination?
Honestly, I think you should have like the checkbox to see which team we planted our flag with during each game.
Oh yeah, like a little animated person. Like,
yeah.
See what we go for. But yeah, we are now diving into map number 1, guys.
And let's go.
Would you decide? Game. Yeah. Perfect. So Iniquity, baby, up against Fluxx Emerald here. And I mean, I've gone with Fluxx Emerald, and I'm going to stick with the man who I'm really interested to see, Mr. Rutter himself, as his boys get on. So, be a good marker here in P1, and already boys of Fluxx Emerald. They're on the preferred side, Pablo, but they're some teams actually do really well from the other side of the hill because of the flank. So Scotty's actually going to try and make this play, but we've seen it a few times where players come on the pinch and they can actually disrupt it. But it looks as though, at least in the early stages, the boys of Fluxx Emerald, they've done a good job.
Yeah, your man right there, Rutter, just reading that flank and just able to turn around and get the kill. So, not that surprising. It was a nice attempt, but yeah, you're right. Some teams are able to just bully from the front, but it doesn't look like Iniquity, baby, have quite got what it takes to do that. They have had to come around the back. They've spawned out a little bit, and you know, got a hats off to Fluxx Emerald for taking the time that they have from it. But you know, they're perfectly set up, and you already see number 7, Chica there, just trying to get himself ready for any potential push down dockside. So, a nice start, and the boys in green so far.
Yeah, so Chica just out the back. Kez has managed to get the initial. He will have a gunfight very, very shortly. There's someone chasing him, Rutter, but he's going to just take a different position. His boys are currently on the hill, so surely we're going to potentially see Kez make the move down in towards the hill. So he takes down one. Typical nerd, though, just underneath him. Rutter managing to help him out and keep him alive. So Fluxx Emerald, really strong start here in the hard point. 50 points clear, and they've got the initial hold, but it's just going to be down to whether or not they can make the break, because at the moment the slaying is quite considerably green.
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely green. You've got, I mean, Lawson just made the stats just a whole lot better. He was on a 1. Scotty, you know, he's usually the kind of player that goes off, and he's 1 and 4 right now. So, you know, I think they just need to warm up a little bit. It's obviously early doors in this Berlin, so I think there's still time. Fluxx Emerald just look really solid, though, and they look really lively as well. I don't know whether it's the green that's helping out. It's such a nice colour, but I don't know whether that's aiding the betting, maybe giving them an extra 5% speed. But right now, they just look solid. But and it's, you know, it's one of these maps that if you do get a good lead on it, you are able to hold on, unlike Bocage maybe, where you can see a comeback. It was going to take a considerable amount of effort, and Chica going off as well. So a lot of work to do for the boys in red.
So a good couple of kills coming through. Lawson is going to grab 2, so a lot better by Iniquity, baby. They've got the rotation as well, so it's going to be down to Fluxx Emerald to try and push their way through. Scooty all the way out in the back is not going to be moving anytime soon. And he does have Kez alongside him to help him out. So the boys of Iniquity, baby, now they can hold strong on this. They will pretty much bring it back to even as how the players fly through. Rutter able to grab 1, but Lawson holds strong. Last man near is going to be typical nerd. How many can he grab? Grabs 1, grabs 2. Looking for the 3rd. Not going to quite be able to. And almost a decent break there, Pablo. But Iniquity, baby, with 20 seconds remaining, it looks as though they're going to pretty much bring it back to even and a really good P3 hold.
Yeah, Scooty with a really nice piece of kind of suppression work down the left-hand side. With that AR doing a great job of just supporting Kez so he didn't get taken out, and he was able to just watch the cross across from that kind of like bridge position. So nice play by Iniquity, baby, to bring this back to within 6, which I guess he just didn't really see coming, but again, it was only early days. And Fluxx Emerald just nicely set up, but this is a big moment now, and you can see number 5 just potentially about to come in behind Kez, and I believe there is going to be Lawson as well, so a big moment. He needs to drop them plays, and he does a great job of it. So DB doing well despite only being on 5 and 8, and that's going to give the boys from Fluxx Emerald just the potential to grab those last 30 seconds and put a good considerable bit of distance between the two.
Yeah, so now can Iniquity, baby, break in once more, because Fluxx Emerald, they have locked this hill down so far. They're pushing the lead out pretty much every single second that Iniquity Baby managed to claw back, they've now managed to push back through again. It looks as though they're going to be able to work something out here. If they can manage to break through. Rutter still holding strong. Lawson on the right-hand side, going to try and push in, but he has been tagged up, so they know he's there. And Fluxx Emerald making the most of this hill. It's probably, Pablo, to be fair, one of the best holds that we've seen on this hill for quite a considerable amount of time. Normally, it can get a bit messy, but they've pretty much whacked out a full 50 seconds, potentially even close to 60 in that one.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since we've seen a non-contest on that. Normally we see teams go back and forth. So Iniquity Baby do look, reasonably weak. And Kez on a really unexpected 5 and 10. And again, Scotty is just coming to life now. I think he's just brought himself back to a balanced KD. But they just don't look like the usual Iniquity Baby. And maybe you're right. Maybe he is just too much of a piece of the jigsaw that's missing. Because right now, Fluxx Emerald are not just holding at that previous hill, but they're holding middle hill, which is usually an indication of a highly strong team. So maybe Rutter's picked him up some gods, and he's got himself a little god squad going on.
Yeah, it's really good work here. Chica's actually managed to grab 5 in a row as well, so he will have the glide bomb. Still 1 away, though, and Iniquity Baby, they've got to be careful now. Even just 10-second scrap time, it is going to push this lead out even more on a really difficult hill the whole time on, and Lawson manages to grab 1. Booty needs a bit of help from his boys at the moment. He's currently the most positive player on the side, and Kez, nice shots, though, manages to take down a couple of players himself. Pistol is needed on the second, but now 70 points the difference, and a good opportunity now for Iniquity Baby to hold the biggest chunk of time that they've been able to, apart from that P2. So we'll see if they can manage it here on the next hill. And Scotty and Scooty, this is the beauty of having these two in the same team. When Scotty left, I was like, oh, that's all right. And then I kept calling Scooty Scotty and getting it mixed up. But this time I can just go with both and play it easy. But good hold so far in the early stages from Iniquity Baby. They just need to try and do it. But there you go. I jinx everything, I'm pretty sure, at this stage. They managed to get a full man wipe and break in.
Just as you say, that absolutely falls apart for the babies. Honestly, the Fluxx Emerald just played that really well. They were very patient. They got the occasional pick and were just able to stroll into the hill and get themselves 33 seconds.
Oh. Have you died, Pablo, or was it me?
I'm still here, aren't I?
Oh,
hello?
Oh, your voice, your mic died. You're back though. Go on, go.
Hey!
I lost you for a moment. I
Oh,
was like,
Berlin? Are we in Berlin? No worries, man. Yeah, it's been a really impressive game from Fluxx Emerald so far. Really solid side. They've been able to be patient. They've done the one thing which most teams don't do. They don't kill feed at this level, and they've just done really well to just, use that patience to break the hill and hold on to it. One thing Iniquity Baby haven't been able to do is either break in and hold or hold from the start. So, yeah, definitely some things to work on. Still only 75 seconds within it. I think they're just at that precipice, though, Major, where if they lose any more time, they're potentially just going to lose out to the fact that Fluxx don't need a lot of time to win.
Yeah, Scotty and Lawson are going to break through. They've still got DB near, though, but he'll get taken down by Scotty also. So now this is the opportunity, really. Iniquity Baby, they need pretty much most of the scrap time here. And the next hill, but Rutter still hunting for scrap time himself. Manages to grab a big kill. There's still going to be another one nearby. As he flies around the corner, Kez, big win from him. So they will get the remaining 10 seconds over towards the next hill. We're going to look, and again, Pablo, it's the boys of Fluxx Emerald. They just seem to be on the rotation every time. I think Iniquity Baby potentially have kind of hit a phase where they can't really afford to put too much scrap time, so it looks like they might be late to pretty much most of the rotations now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's obviously a good shout, but this is where you need a team that can maybe, start to split that responsibility and send two to next and keep someone old and fight for both. I don't think they've quite got the players with the correct amount of gun skill to be able to do this, and obviously the boys in Fluxx Emerald are set up just really well to repel most kinds of attack, and you can see that's a really solid push, and you've got number 6 there going out the middle. He is going to get dropped, so this is a good opportunity right now for Iniquity Baby maybe to make a final push onto this and grab the 30 or so seconds that are remaining. If they're not able to do it, mate, I think this is pretty much game over if they can't make this break on this hill.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to be able to. That is a full green kill feed. Fluxx Emerald, such a good job in this map number 1. Chica has been a big part of that. Hasn't got a huge amount of hill time, but the kills are showing for him. And now with a few remaining seconds needed now for Fluxx Emerald, the race of the rotation's on. Scooty able to win one gunfight towards the side of the next hill, but can he manage to grab any more? He does have some teammates relatively close. The Scooty doing a good job, still holding strong by himself, and it looks as though he might be able to just disrupt potentially those players going over towards the hill. Rutter's actually going to go flying straight through, and Chica's actually going to mop him up with his own strafing run. So not necessarily the thing they wanted to see there, but with 15 seconds left now, Iniquity Baby are pretty much going to need pretty much a damn near perfect hold, you would say, from here on.
Yeah, I mean, it is looking good for them. They've got that first 30 seconds. They've nailed that down. They've played really well. You've got number one, Scooty, just causing absolute trouble in that kind of middle office building. So, yeah, it's been good work so far. Iniquity Baby do seem to come to life finally and started to shoot straighter as the Berlins progressed. But right now, it's still a long way to go, though. Only 15 seconds required by by Fluxx, and obviously Iniquity Baby still some way off, but it's not impossible. They did need to kind of get past that kind of point where they of no return and just start to put some points on the board. And right now, honestly, Major, with players like Kez, Scooty, and Scotty on a team, you wouldn't put it past them just doing a complete reversal on what we've already said is probably impossible.
Yeah, so now the next kills are going to be big here for Iniquity Baby because the boys in green are slowly lurking towards the hill. Rutter's going to get taken down though, so the first kill comes through, but the trades come through as well, and now this is an opportunity for Fluxx Emerald to get on the hill, but they're actually still holding on to this one. Scotty and Scooty, the duo of wonderful names, are going to manage to grab a couple of kills, and Scooty actually with a knife onto Chica now, so it's now looking a little bit shaky here from Fluxx Emerald. They just need to try and regain here, but we've seen it quite a lot of times, Pablo, where as soon as it gets to this stage and one team starts to come back, if you've not got the composure just to push it as a team, which it looks as though Iniquity Baby are actually forcing upon Fluxx Emerald here, they're going to be in a bit of a difficult situation, but they need to try and hold this next rotation, and the next kills potentially could be make or break here for either side.
Yeah, if they're able to get a hold on this next hill, it's going to be really imperative that the boys from Iniquity Baby are able to make a quick, clean break. Because if they don't, they're not going to have the time. There's only 11 seconds remaining. And right now you can see that number 4, Scotty, just trying to do that. And he gets a 2-piece. It's potentially on. Only 2 left in the hill. Is he going to get the third? No, but that player is tagged up. Rotet left alive. He does drop, and that's going to leave Scooty just walking into the hill. And there's still time for them to do it. 6 seconds for Fluxx Emerald, Major. And this is going to be a big gunfight right now.
Oh no, I am worried for Fluxx Emerald now. This next couple of kills is going to be huge, and again, they are dropping like flies at the moment. Chica and the boys, are they going to let this one slip? This is going to be such a kick in the teeth if they can't get this one done. Typical nerd, as he managed to sneak in at the right time, gets in the hill, takes down one, looking for more. The trades are going to be there. It's getting messy, and with 9 seconds left, they can still win this. Kez is now going on a tear. Iniquity Baby, they've just woken up in the later stages of this, and Fluxx Emerald have just completely gone to sleep, and they are going to lose the map. Oh my god, Iniquity Baby, how have you managed that one?
I need a hat so that I can take it off and eat it because, oh my days, did we say they couldn't do it? They've got to that precipice point. It looked like it had been turned over, and Iniquity Baby, Kez, Scooty, Scotty make us eat our words. And they, don't get me wrong, they had some okay holds at the start of that Berlin, but man, wild play at the end of that. Ooh, man, the craziness continues in Vanguard.
I'll tell you what, if you're in Iniquity Baby's Discord, they are going to be feeling pretty happy about that one. That was an incredible comeback, and now they're 1-0 up in a series where you're thinking, how on earth have Fluxx Emerald just dropped that map?
It just came to life, man. I just, you know, you see some teams just kick through the gears, and they just came to life in a way that you don't often see. Right at the end, I mean, they couldn't really have left it any later. 11 seconds to go. They probably got the large proportion of their time around and about 210 to about 140, and just absolutely nailed those final 3 kills. And just did exactly what we said they needed to do. They were able to fight for the scrap time on old. They were able to quickly get to grips with new, and just they only had to do it twice in between 3 kills, and they managed to do it. And when you've got players like Kez, Scooty, and Scotty, obviously they're not known about Lawson, you're able to just, I don't know, bully again. It's just sometimes you forget how good they are. But honestly, Rutter is going to be, Rutter's going to be fuming.
Rutter's lost 4 that one. I can literally picture his voice right now and hear it of him going, "What has just happened?" But yeah, really good map there from Iniquity Baby. And we'll tweak that to make sure it's the correct score. So 1-0 up. So now, Pablo, we go into the Madness map. But quickly as well, we've had a few of these, a few C's. And, oh no, Richie redeemed one for me as well. God. Right. If I've got to do him, you've got to do him, Pab. Oh no, your voice is kind of
I need you to do the whole thing. I need to do the whole celebration. I need to get out and jump with the arms out.
Richie,
no, you're not doing that.
There you go, Richie. Thank you for that, mate. So, yeah, map number 2, Pablo. Going to a bocage now, so it's one where we're going from a more structured map to a kick bollock scramble one for Fluxx Emerald. So potentially it might be an opportunity for them to make a bit of madness here in this one, because the Iniquity Baby at the end of that, they hit a bit of a stride.
Yeah, absolutely. They were They were flying. I mean, you could see from the start they were kind of windy. It was really weird to watch them. They're not shooting straight and not really getting into the positions. And I think once they got to that second rotation, there was a point, I think it was P4, was it maybe? And they were able to just lock down the left-hand side, and you just started to see Scotty just get a bit more confidence. He was able to just completely lock it down with the AR, which supported Kez, which is exactly what you need to happen. And they were able to hold the kill for about 30 seconds, but then they were still getting broken. But as that whole second rotation wore on, they've just been able to just expand on that to the point where they dominated that warehouse hill and then went over to P1 and just continued to just absolutely fry. In fact, I think P1 P5, because they absolutely dominated that middle hill. So when it comes to Bokars, yes, it's like rolling dice. Honestly, it's insane. It would be nice to see someone push it over to the B bomb site. I think it is B bomb site. Yeah, I think it would be nice to see that. I think that provides a different strategic. It's less hurried and less insane than trying to get into that small room, which was clearly built with trophies in mind.
Yeah, we're still waiting, Sledgehammer. If you want to chuck a trophy in, then feel free to do so. We're not complaining too much, but you know,
no, it's unrealistic.
I'm not going to feel too bad.
It's unrealistic for the time.
People on P5 Tuscan are the ones that like, please give me just one trophy, one trophy on one hill on the entire game, please, just the one. But yeah, we're unfortunately still susceptible to endless amounts of nades, and we are just loading into map number 2, guys. So well, there you go. My prediction's already down the pan. Pablo, I've got it wrong straight off the bat off that one. But Fluxx Emerald, to be fair, if they start this one as they did start that map 1 potentially, then they still could be in with a shout in this series by no means. But they just got to kind of keep their composure, I think, is the main thing. Towards the end of that one, it did look as though they were kind of just throwing themselves about a little bit.
Yeah, I think a little bit of composure was definitely lost. Discipline out the window as they just started to try and get picks as opposed to get pinches and kind of set up properly to break a hill. Obviously, they had little or no time towards the end, so you do tend to throw bodies at it. Definitely time to reset. We know Rutter can do that, and I'm sure he won't be happy with that performance toward the end, but they really did play well at the beginning, so it does bode well that there's an opportunity for them to bring this back to 1-1 potentially.
And into map number 2, Ezra somehow managed to notice that there was a few players. They literally headbutted each other. I'm not quite sure what went on there. I think they kind of both looked at each other and said, hang on a minute, what are you doing here? But anyways, the kills going through, and we got 3 dead already. I was sitting there thinking, hang on, am I spectating the right player here? Because they literally had a second where they just stared each other in the face and were like, all right.
It's like, are they off spawn? Why are they together? Are they having a party? Is there a silent disco somewhere I've missed out? There was like 3 of them in the same room, no one shooting each other. That was so weird. And now we're in a 1v2 as Kez looks to take on Rutter and typical nerd. Obviously, we do know that Mr. Cheerios and Milk is definitely capable of a 1v2, but he is up against one of the bigger brains in this the AM scene right now in Rutter, so this should be super interesting. Still got to get bombed down, still plenty of time now for Kez to work with, and this could be a big moment in the round 1 already.
Kez, 2 players waiting just around the corner for you, buddy. They are right next to each other. Oh, Vanguard doors. He's going to fly through. He might be able to. Oh no, never mind. Not going to quite manage to get it done. And Fluxx Emerald going to take the round number 1 and quickly pass before we continue. Just a shout out, Mr. Seymour's here. Mr. Seymour Cast, what a man. Thank you very much for the follow.
To see you, man.
Cheers, Colin. Appreciate that, buddy. And we've had a few C's coming in, Pablo. We've had 2 for me, so we're going to have to split them between me and you. There's a couple of these as well. Do you want to go first, or shall I go first? Because the chat wants them. Brilliant. And I'll whack one as well. Sue! Thank you very much, guys, for investing the channel points. But yeah, round 1 done, Pablo. Back to the god after that one. And yeah, good round from Fluxx Emerald. Just playing it smart, playing it back to back, and now 1-0 up.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is what we wanted to see from them. You know, after going 1-0 down, a little bit of a revive, despite how odd the start was. DB with a few windy shots there, just a little slow on the reaction. So we're going to see Chika going big, though, definitely looking like a good S&D player. But right now, a 2v2, despite his heroics. So a lot of work to do in both sides, but I would suggest Fluxx Emerald now, because the defense and Rutter absolutely nailing Scooty there. That's the Rutter of old right there, man. That is what we wanted to see, is Rutter find all the cylinders. I've cursed him. Sorry, man. I cursed him, Major.
Yeah. So Fluxx Emerald, 2 rounds on the board. Really good start from those boys. And Colin, if you have no idea what that was, I do apologize. It's just going to be a massive noise, but it's something I added to the stream, and I don't. Do I regret it? No, probably not. It is quite good to have it on, but Our voices regret it, that's for sure. But good first round. Rutter now on a 3 streak. And Fluxx Emerald, they're coming back looking strong in the search. And I suppose this is where potentially you'd argue that by not having a solid team of 4 in Iniquity Baby, where they've chopped and changed a few times, and obviously Lawson coming through, it might maybe be a bit more of a heavy factor, especially in search and destroys with strats and those kind of things.
I don't know, you know, they've got a solid team of 3 there. They could probably just, you know, maybe give Lawson OBJ or just ask him to do like a pretty simple role while they do the more convoluted or execute stronger strategies. But I mean, it's difficult to say. Right now, though, it's almost a mirror image of game 1 with Fluxx Emerald looking really strong and Iniquity Baby kind of all at sea. So you might be right. And Scooty, again, just going off with that AR. And that's exactly what you want to see. He's going to get 2. That's an awesome bit of AR work. But who's right there? Typical nerd, just going to take him down.
Kez, or a couple of Windies coming through from the Scotsman. 1 versus 1. Bomb is down. But he still has to try and work something here. Kez, 20 seconds left on the clock. He's going to have to be quick here. Bit of cat and mouse between him and Typical Nerd. He's going to fly straight around the corner, and Typical Nerd manages to get the kill. So Fluxx Emerald 3-0 up. And as you mentioned, Pablo, it's literally like a mirror image of what we saw in that game number 1, where Fluxx Emerald came out the gates absolutely steaming. But don't write off the boys of Iniquity Baby just yet, because we were made to eat our words in map number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I just get a feeling this might be, obviously, Bocage does tend to lend itself to players who absolutely love this map. So if you're someone like Iniquity Baby, maybe is scrimming other maps consistently, this could be Fluxx Emerald's map anyway. So, I mean, right now, you've got to just think, if DB starts to contribute, this could be a problem if you're an Iniquity fan, manager, owner, player. So right now, Iniquity Baby with a lot of work to do, and they really need to get Lawson and Scooty into this. And you pointed out earlier on, Lawson is the kind of outlier in the team, so right now he definitely needs to pull his weight, or this could be a problem. And Chica is absolutely dominating this game so far.
Yeah, he's having a really good search. Likewise, it is Typical Nerd and Rutter. So now Scooty, all of a sudden, is the last man up. But we're both down on it, on coughing at the moment. We're all dying in this one, but another round goes in their favour. Fluxx Emerald, they are making this look absolutely textbook at the moment. 4-0, and Iniquity Baby, at this point, Pablo, do they just need to try and play it for a kill at the moment? Because it seems like that round, they started playing it slowly, and then they allowed a man to kind of slip through the ranks, grab the first blood, and then all of a sudden, it was like a 1 versus 3 in the space of a few seconds.
I just think this is where you're missing Higgy, that aggression between Higgy and Kez. They're missing that outright. They need that player who's going to fly in through Barn and get those 1 or 2 first bloods and just really set the cat among the pigeons in terms of how the other team thinks about the rest of the map. So right now they don't really have that aggression, and that's just going to cost them dearly. And DB with 2 really easy kills there. Chica looks like he picks up the first one, but Scotty, hello? Scotty just in the back. If he gets that, the dirty boy. Scotty with a nice 2-piece, finally taken down by Rutter, and it's going to be a 1v2 again, and this is the problem. They leave themselves kind of, because they're not getting that first blood or they're not trading out efficiently, they leave themselves in this the same position. This could be very fortunate timing for Scooty.
There's got
40 seconds.
One makes it a 1 versus 1. Is up against, and if he gets past over on Vanguard, so Rutter currently 6-2, a really good map for him. 28 seconds remain. Him just to try and hold off Scooty, trying to get the defuse, and quick hit. Oh, he's going to get some bad timing. Rutter's seen him. He's surely going to drop him. He at least knows where he is. Still on the hunt. Cat and mouse will continue. And with 14 seconds left, Scooty's got to try and at least commit to something here. Rutter knows where he is. Scooty doesn't know where he is, and he manages to get the kill, Rutter, and this is looking like a brilliant performance here in map 2 from Fluxx.
Absolutely, yeah, and you've really got to put it down to Rutter. I'm almost certain that as an in-game leader and as kind of like the organizer of most of the teams he's generally in, that he's just played this really well. He played that whole like latter section of that game really well, and he was fortunate. He did manage to just jump over the wall, and man, if he'd have pushed through Grannies, I think he would have got tagged up. But yeah, sometimes you've got to get the luck on your side as well, and Rutter and Chica have just been awesome. DB getting involved as well. So right now, Iniquity Baby not looking great at S&D at all, and Lawson in particular just having a bit of a struggle bus moment. I'm singling them out, and Scooty and Kez as well, definitely they're driving the struggle bus so far.
Yeah, first blood again. Rutter manages to get it. Lawson tries to fly through, but again, it is just the organisation of Fluxx in trades that manages to pay off once again. The pain is going to continue even more. DB is going to get taken down by Scotty. Currently, the only man with a substantial amount of kills, really, for Iniquity Baby. Goes on the hunt for potential couple more. 2 versus 3. Duo of tongue twisters. Still alive. Booty just watching the outer lane. Gotti just cooped up inside, but just feel it's almost like a matter of time, isn't it, on Bocage? As soon as they crack open a door and fly through, that's usually when the madness starts to come through.
And when you consider you've got Ruta Chica and typical Ned waiting for you at any given point, this is going to be really tricky. He does need to get this kill though, and that's 1 down with 2 left to go. But again, the big brains of Ruta and typical Ned remaining in this 2v2. Wow, what? I didn't think he was going to shoot him. He's got that info. This should be my days.
Oh,
He's going to get down. Absolute work there from Fluxx Emerald. What a performance, 6-0. And mate, you've got to say hats off to Ruta for what a regain to come back from that like really appalling defeat on Berlin, and rock a 6-0 in S&D against a really solid team like that. It's amazing.
Hey, that's a statement from Fluxx. I mean, we've only got 2 search and destroys in the series, but my God, that was
you get a game 4.
That was pretty full. Yeah, at least we get a game 4. There's no 3-0s around these parts in Div 1. So it's going to go to game 4. But wow, yeah, really good map from Fluxx Emerald. I'm not quite sure whether it was Fluxx Emerald being really good or potentially Iniquity Baby that really struggled in that one, because they did look a bit lost for ideas in that one at times.
Yeah, I think they were just completely off the boil. Nothing would work for them. They weren't getting first bloods. They weren't trading at all. Basically, they were getting picked off. And we could see as well, some of the shots were super windy. They just weren't reacting very well, which is not like them. They're usually a very aggressive, highly reactive side. So, again, just not really playing. I mean, it's a Monday. It's the start of the weekend, and they're just probably not feeling themselves. Busy weekend of 8 hours a day Call of Duty for some of these players. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but yeah, that is an embarrassment right there. 6-0 is a tricky one to regain from.
Yeah, so getting ready for map number 3, guys. So Tuscan Hardpoint Pablo, obviously still relatively fast paced, but nowhere near kind of the likes of a Bocage. So after seeing that performance from Iniquity Baby, are you still thinking, well, they'll still be pretty strong on a map that isn't just complete madness? I mean, obviously we're going to a respawn now where potentially that teamwork might not necessarily be as important if they can just get the kills as we saw in the later stage of the Berlin.
I just think they're missing Higgy. You know, when you think about Iniquity Baby and you think about the Tuscan, you just think about Higgy getting those kills over on P1 and just dominating certain areas of the map, and they're just not getting that right now with their pickup. And sometimes when you get a pickup, if they're replacing maybe the weakest member of the team, it's not too bad, and you can use it as long as they're reasonably solid and they don't go super negative, or they're at least able to get a chunk of time or play OBJ or something, that's fine. But you know, when you're missing someone as vital as Higgy is to any team, I just think that's maybe too much of a bridge. So I think we might expect a similar kind of performance we saw in Berlin, where it's going to be either close or someone's going to get an early lead and then it's going to get reversed. So it depends. If Windy Iniquity Baby turns up that we've just seen in S&D, it's going to be a Fluxx Emerald. If Kez turns up as Kez should, and it should be a slightly closer game.
Yeah, and big shout out to Mr. Siege. I know he's got endless channel points. I'm going to put a cap on the amount of these we have to do, because there's another one. Don't worry, Pabs, it's not you this time. It's just me, unfortunately. So a big thank you to Mr. Siege for... Yeah, I do have a drink here, but I'm just saving it just in case I get a bit ropey. But thank you, Siege, for the... Thank you, mate. And a few of those as well. And Pablo's going to do a runner. But yeah, guys, we are just loading in very shortly into map number 3. If you did miss maps number 1 and 2, this is currently how they've unfolded. Iniquity managed to take map number 1 in quite an emphatic style, actually. They came back from a really big deficit, take that one 250 to 244, but then they got absolutely handed on that Bocage search and destroy. So we're just lobbying up now for map number 3 for the Tuscan Hardpoint. And actually, I was going to say quickly do a channel point prediction, because we always make the predictions. We always get them wrong. So I think I might just leave it to chat to try and sort.
I've definitely eaten more words than I'd care to most recently.
So map number 3. What is in? Spell it right.
I've genuinely tested. I still got the 200 cocktail sticks that my wife randomly brought me the other day.
Use them as toothpicks, mate. In case
I know.
Before we go live,
I mean,
you don't get anything stuck in your teeth.
I don't know.
I think you were talking away from the mic, Pabs, if you were speaking. I didn't hear you, bro.
I've got like zero mic etiquette. I'm a guitar player, not a singer.
You'll have to give the stream a tune one day.
It's not today though, mate. Not today.
All right, tomorrow. We'll compromise. We'll go tomorrow.
Like the whole voice is way too husky at the minute.
Oh, we've had another one though, Pabs. I did the last one. Elida wants the. Elida? Thank you very much. He wants to see. Or he.
She wants another Sue.
Yeah, you got to do one, mate. You can do a more contained.
Have you explained the dynamic here? Have you explained that I'm a Liverpool fan? This is like
This is
Man United's greatest ever player that I've got to do an impersonation of. So
it's why it's even better that you've got to do it, because I can feel the pain coming through from you every time. Every time you have to do it. Oh
honest
man.
to God. Listen, if you're going to make me come round and start saying Messi's a better player just so this ends, I'm not going to get into it.
Oh man. I'm so glad I put it in the stream, because it really does.
Yeah, it's awesome. It is awesome.
It's been the easiest and most redeemed thing with channel points since I've had them. I've had a couple of things on channel points, but this has just been abused since I started putting it in. So it's been an absolute madness. But anyway, from Ronaldo over towards Call of Duty, Fluxx Emerald are going to be taking up a bit of time, but Scotty's already on a 5 streak, so Iniquity Baby, it looks as though they've continued from that map 1. They've completely forgotten about that map 2, as they probably should with the score, and Scotty 6 in a row, full streaks, looking pretty solid.
Yeah, and I think he potentially might get a 70 if he's able to come up behind someone. This is going to be tricky for him, though. He's going to make the right route, and he's just got to watch out for these players back. He was never going to get that, and that was a nice beam there from Chica. But the glide's in the back pocket, and so they're going to be ready for that that open hill, which is going to be literally sat on right now. We're about 46 seconds away from the next rotation, and Fluxx Emerald looking really strong again. So again, we're seeing this almost mirror image of that first hard point. But you would suggest that Iniquity Baby maybe are shooting a little straighter. Kez, though, unusually in a complete mirror reversal of Scotty's performances on a 1 and 5, and that is just not like Kez at all.
Yeah, it's a good break by Fluxx Emerald to retake the hill. It looks as though boys of Iniquity Baby might be pushing in, but as you mentioned, Kez probably struggling at the moment, and already the players looking over towards the new hill, and DB makes Lawson pay there for missing even just a couple of shots. Kez is going to be watching those players transition over, so surely the call-out is going to be here. Scooty has got a lot of work to do, takes down one. Oh, he's going to get caught out with the stun for the second, so the opportunity now for the boys to break through the back is going to be their typical nerd. Manages to grab a really important kill out the back, and it looks as though the boys of Fluxx Emerald, at least a couple of them, are going to start getting set up for a decent amount of time here.
Yeah, it does look like number 2 Rutter is just realising that there's no one going to be pushing 2, and they are going to be coming over towards that P1 side. So, big moment right now. Number 1 there, DB, doing a fine job of just holding this down. Sometimes you see wildly different strategies towards this hole, but right now, again, this hill just doesn't get sat on for a large proportion of time. It's such a weird one, but again, they've done a good job so far. Scotty's going to bring out the glide to try and...
Oh, I think it might have gone again, Pabs, unless it's me.
Large proportion of the time going their way is entirely down to him.
Oh man, we missed half the sentence. Your mic's doing you dirty today, Pabs. It keeps coming out.
My mouth is right over it.
Just consuming the mic. Just like need to get the statement in, but really good work.
Nah, man, I think it might be an issue at your end as well, because you've been cutting out as well. Maybe it's because I've got Netflix on.
Really? All right. Maybe
No,
Discord
I'm
is
not
doing
playing
it
it at the same time. I've got it paused, but you cut out as well.
All right. That's really bizarre. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see. Anyways, the show goes on. If you go silent for a bit, I'll just assume you're still getting sweet beauties in our ears for the analysis. But the boys of Iniquity Baby, they're now trailing by 50 points. This Churchill is going to be a really important for them. DB, though, up top takes down one. Looking at the second. DB with a couple will get traded out as it gets a little bit messy. As Scooty actually replies with 2 kills of his own. So he's now going to be inside the hill alongside his teammate, and Kez holding strong. Much better there from him. Manages to grab that initial kill. And Iniquity Baby doing a good job on this hill, Pablo. It's not necessarily the easiest one to hold at times.
No, it isn't, and it's nice to see Lawson. He's got quite a solid amount of time. He's 8 and 11, so he's not terribly negative. So a really nice performance from him so far. He really does need Kez to pick up. If Kez can pick up, man, this is going to be a totally different game. I say that, and Lawson gets absolutely bounced by DB. So right now, the game is only 20 points, though, which is great. If you're a Iniquity Baby fan, it does look like they're on the way back, and hardpoint is potentially definitely their bread and butter right now. But Kez just needs to get involved with the match a little bit. He's right now, his interactions are only at 17. He's only got 22 seconds on the kill, and I just think once he starts coming into this game, this could be a problem, because everyone else on Fluxx Emerald have got themselves Rutter going for the 4-man wipe on his own. Rambo Rutter back at it again. It's lovely to see him back in Vanguard.
Yeah, that's trademark Rutter, hit marker. I assume he didn't know that every single player on the side of Iniquity Baby was out there, but you've got to put it. Confidence on point, just flies himself at everything, will Rutter. So he's currently just breaking even, but DB's having the map of his life at the moment at 18 and 5. Will get dropped though eventually by Lawson, and it looks as though 20 seconds of scrap time is going to go in favour of Fluxx Emerald as they look to push the lead out. Similar situation as what we saw in map number 1. Now can Scotty start to form a bit of a comeback here. 1-on-1 against DB. Scotty comes out on top of that one. Look at the second. Onto typical nerd. Really good work from Scotty. There is going to be a third in Rutter. Oh, I thought he was going to do Rutter as well there, but now the race to the rotation. Streaks are going to come through here. And it looks as though DB's going to invest it almost instantly. Takes down Kez with the glide bomb. The push comes through and Fluxx Emerald break in towards P1 almost instantly. And now it's starting to get a little bit dangerous here, Pabs.
Yeah, Kez has definitely lost all at sea. You know, he was at the back of church. It looked like he was waiting for the Emerald boys to push through and then maybe come in behind him. He changes his mind. I don't know whether he got comms. He goes back into church and then gets absolutely destroyed by Chica. And then we've got Scooty and Scotty going off now on P1. But this is definitely a much more solid, much more disciplined performance from Fluxx Emerald. The question is, can they hold on to this now and extend on? You know, we don't want to see that kind of collapse that we saw in that first game. So right now, Fluxx Emerald looking good for the money to potentially go 2-1 up, but again, I just think they need to push through and try and get a break.
Yeah, so now looking over towards P2, you can see the arrows of Fluxx Emerald. They were so pushed up here, but they've got to be careful not to actually get spawned out here because they're now going to run towards the back, and that is exactly what happened. That was a bit of a potential misplay there by Fluxx Emerald. You could see what they were trying to do, but nobody picked the kills, and all of a sudden the spawns have flipped, and now they're on the back foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Just absolutely insane plays. And Iniquity Baby really struggled to break into that P1. You just felt that if they weren't able to get any time on that, was that a 2 TK right there? As if Fluxx Emerald just collapsed themselves. Insane plays. But yeah, Iniquity Baby did really well. And they've got a nice setup in this hill. And they're only 70 seconds. So if they're able to DB with the flying kill, though, huge plays right there to get back on. And Fluxx Emerald just looked really, really strong, mate.
I don't think I've ever seen two teammates trade each other out at the same time before. That was something special there between Rutter and Chica, but Rutter making them pay even more as he manages to cut down a couple more. We do have a extra couple of follows as well as Min manages to drop us a follow as well. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate all the new followers today, guys. And Kez, a couple of kills coming through. DB, though, is going to secure the scrap time. And now this is a really important moment for Iniquity Baby. They need to hold the rotation. They need to hold strong. Scotty going to grab a couple of kills as they look to try and push through, but the duo Scotty and Scooty rocking 2 players of Fluxx Emerald. So now, can they manage to push this one out? Because it looks as though they're going to play this quite aggressively here, but they've got to be careful because now it looks as though they might have done pretty much what the boys of Iniquity Baby actually did in pushing up potentially too far, and now they've got a man out the back, but never mind, I've jinxed it. They've still got the control. With 40 seconds left on this hill pad, it's looking like a good strong start to this one at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did exactly what they needed to do. They pushed up quite a way up and they were able to just hold that first push from almost mid-map. And that just gives them a free 20 seconds. Another kill goes down as Chica decides to decimate another player with a nade. 3 TKs in a match. I don't know whether they're doing themselves self-harm now, but definitely don't need that, especially on a hill as complex as this one. Again, we're going to see number 7, Scotty. He's just got that AR lane kind of like down, and Lawson going off in the hill. And this is going to be really important for them to get some time, because now we're back to that 60 seconds. It's 1 kill hold, and we were here previously. You know, we know Iniquity Baby can chain hills together. So right now, if you're Fluxx Emerald, you just need to stay solid, keep the energy level up more than anything else, and keep contesting.
Yeah, Kez is able to pick off one at new, but there's still going to be DB and Rutter inside. Rutter on the headache. This is going to be a difficult position here for Lawson. Nade is going to force him out of position for the time being. But now, is the pinch going to be perfect here? They've got players on both sides. Scotty, he's going to fall, and it looks as though, apart from Lawson, everyone will drop. Lawson will join them in the graveyard, and a really strong first hold from here from Fluxx Emerald as they look to try and push this map out even further. So they're looking to try and at least stop what happened in map number 1. If you did miss it, Iniquity Baby came back with a monstrous comeback, but at the moment, the boys of Fluxx Emerald, they aren't making any mistakes about this one. They're reading the spawns really well. Typical nerd now on 6 in a row, and it's looking really dangerous here. They can't win off the hill, Pablo, but they can get so close.
Yeah, and they're very clever about how they've distributed the teams between new and old. They've sent 2 over. They've got a few kills. Both those players have survived. They've just got to watch out underneath. There is going to be a player coming from the bottom who is going to be Kez. He does get taken down. So right now it's a bit of a free-for-all, but it is going to be Fluxx Emerald who are going to jump just onto the hill. They've played it so cleverly, and they just need to get a team wipe, and I think that is going to see game going over to Fluxx Emerald.
Oh, man.
The question is, there we go. I was literally just thought they were going to do it again and get a foot on the hill, but Fluxx Emerald were a really tasty win. That's a you know, an absolute smack really for Iniquity Baby. 2 on the bounce that they've been absolutely, you know, pummeled. 6-0 in S&D, and a 250 to 125 is an outstanding performance for a new team. So hats off to Rutter. What a performance across the board. And again, you've just got to say, you know, Chica right now just is up firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, that was pretty much map 1. But they actually kept their foot on the gas, Fluxx Emerald, as we saw right in the first half of the Berlin. They managed to let their foot off, but on this one, they really put them to the sword in that one, and they've kind of put Iniquity Baby in the dirt in that one. 250 to 125. That's it's not quite a 100-point club, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a 2KD in points, so it's like it's a really good performance. Some of the stuff to think about, I suppose. Tuscan geographically is a lot smaller, so it tends to be played in a more naturalistic way when you go in as a team. Your transitional kills have an effect a lot more than, say, on Berlin, where you may just be aiming and betting the opposition to spawn closer to the back of the hill. So again, that could just be about practice and about teamwork and why they eventually got turned over. They looked a lot more solid. If anything, they just look a bit quicker than Iniquity Baby, which is weird to say, knowing how good those boys are. And they just had a little bit more energy about them. It was just a really solid performance right the way through.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to Dusterfield, who drops a follow as well, and Arthur Sandwich, what a name. Yes, we get some really good names sometimes on Twitch. I think that's the beauty of it. I don't know how some people get away with some of these names. Obviously, these ones aren't too bad, but yeah, do get some bangers. And we saw, what was the team name yesterday as well that we saw that was
E-Girl Stream Watchers.
E-Girl Stream Watchers, that was it. What team name that was? Not quite Hot Tub Meta, but it was very, very close. But yeah,
the American Hot Tub Meta.
Yeah. But yeah, map 4, Pabs, we're back on the madness that is Bocage once more. That we love to hate. So the way Fluxx Emerald have been in respawns, and now we saw it on that one. Are they the guys that you're potentially looking at now to say, right, okay, this is the map to see this one out?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a feeling that this is going to be an absolute banger for Fluxx Emerald. I think they're going to be very comfortable on this map. I think right now the Iniquity Baby are just feeling that kind of spare piece that Lawson is at the minute. He's not quite gelling. Yeah. He had a reasonable performance, don't get me wrong, but then it's kind of like if you move away from the statistics and think about how someone like Higgy might support someone like Kez to just play a slightly different game, then when he's not there, that's why you're potentially seeing Kez have a poorer game. That's it. It really comes down to that in-game intelligence and knowing when to push at the right time and knowing where your other player is going to play. So I think this is potentially going to be a big Fluxx Emerald moment.
Yeah, so now guys, we are loading in everyone's beloved map, Bocage Hardpoint. See how this one is going to unfold here. So Fluxx Emerald, they only need one more map now. Take this one. They will manage to push through in towards that winners final. I think they've already played a game, so I think it's winners final actually. But yeah, this is now kind of it's do or die really for Iniquity Baby, isn't it, Pabs? They really need to kind of string together what we saw at the end of that first hard point, and they need it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously this is one of probably the worst maps to do it on, because obviously any skill disparity is removed because this is such a close map and it tends to be very reactive. You're probably better if you're a team of MP40 players, when I've got a feeling Fluxx Emerald are just a lot more comfortable in that kind of 3 SMG meta. So this is going to be a big moment. So don't write the boys off just yet, though. They have got quality still within Iniquity Baby, but I'll be honest with you, it's just looking solid so far for Fluxx. They've got the kills. I think if Typical Nerd can get involved, I think it's just going to be a really difficult performance for the boys in red.
Yeah, the mid map, so it's not quite COD, but we love it anyways. There's a couple of C's coming through there from Kiwi and from Hoodsy. So the boys of Fluxx Emerald, they've got DB, last man up in the back. Can he manage to grab a couple? Oh, not quite able to. That would have been a really big kill if he managed to do it. And Lawson now realising the importance of the back as well, as a lot of players do. Little Nerd flying through the door. He manages to grab one there, Lawson. Big couple of kills out the back for him. You can still see the green arrows from Fluxx Emerald. They are not letting this one go, as Chica manages to fly round, wins a couple of engagements. And Fluxx Emerald now in the position to hold a decent amount of time.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about gun skill and you talk about these one-on-ones not always mattering, but Chica absolutely decimates Lawson there. And
Ooh.
he gets the jump shot and is able to get 10, and that's going to matter huge because there's still 30 seconds available on this hill, and you could see potentially Fluxx Emerald doing quite well to get them, and yet that looks like it's going to go the way. And Chica in particular, again, just having an awesome performance. He's 7-1 with a 4 streak right now, so potentially going to get a glide on a map with 2 reasonably open hills as well. So this could be a big moment right now in the game when we talk about gun skill again, and DB gets a kill he should never have got hold of, and that glide bomb is now in the back pocket of Fluxx Emerald. So right now, mate, it's looking absolutely awesome. Is that 2 glides on the side of Fluxx?
Yeah, that's 2. Rutter managed to get one quite under the radar, that first one, but they've now got 2 glide bombs to work with. Obviously, Boko's not necessarily a map where it's a huge streak, but it can have a really big importance, especially over towards the final hill of the rotation in the open. So we'll see now how Fluxx decides to potentially implement those streaks. Typical nerd to fly around the back, big engagement there, and it just seems at times now that Iniquity Baby, as much as they try it, when Fluxx Emerald are on point, they just fly through them. The pacing and aggression of their SMG players is just so quick. Scotty currently doing the best he can at 10-7. He's going to need a little bit more from his boys as they try to contest the hill. But again, another opportunity for Fluxx Emerald to get a good amount of time here on the hill, as though Scotty is going to try and work his way around the back, potentially for the last time here, as he runs into Giga. So there should be a free one. Can he get the second onto Rutter in the corner? Yes, he can. Nice break, big scrap time, and the thing they've got to be careful of, though, Pablo, is because by pushing in for that scrap time, they've now given the spawns away to Fluxx Emerald for the next hill.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's in their thought process, but obviously Barn ends up usually being a heavily contested hill, so this should really give us a good indicator of where Fluxx Emerald are in terms of, you know, holding on to what is a generally a difficult hill. Scotty doing really well round the back, and this is going to be a big gunfight. He does get dropped, and he's going to get traded straight out by Kez, and that's important as well because the trades just weren't there in the S&D, so that's a really nice break from the boys from Iniquity Baby, and they're starting to look comfortable again, and we could be potentially seeing a reversal of fortunes. There's only 10 points in it, so big plays by Iniquity Baby so far, Major.
Yeah, now this is the opportunity for Iniquity Baby to break in and get some time here. 20 seconds or thereabouts still remaining, so it's going to look as though those green arrows, emerald arrows, we say, are going to try and push their way through. Scooty's actually managed to accumulate a 5 streak himself. He will get dropped, but they at least have a glide bomb of their own. Chica up top manages to crack round Kez in the face as he manages to drop him. They still got Scotty inside the hill, and with that scrap time, it will push that lead out ever so slightly. But now I suppose this is the hill, Pablo, isn't it? Where Fluxx Emerald would have 2 glide bombs. Surely we're going to see at least one of them here.
Yeah, and the thing is, you would expect to see this hill contested anyway, so potentially this could be a big moment for them to be able to get control and get a large chunk of time. That's what you would hope at the least, and that could potentially put Iniquity Baby quite a way ahead. But you're going to see that coming from Rutter, you're going to see it coming from Chica potentially. They've used one from Rutter's just invested this to drop Kez out, and that's going to potentially give them a solid 40 seconds. They do need to get set up as number 2 Scooty is making his way in. I just don't think Fluxx is set up as comfortably as they'd like to be, so they're going to need to get some reactive kills, and right there Chica's about to invest this. TK again? Has he got something against Rutter?
Yeah,
I think he might have
these two are having a private battle, I think, to see who can kill each other the most, because I'm not sure where he's thinking to plonk that. He's put it right in the back pocket of Rutter, and again I can just literally hear Rutter's voice in my ear being like, what are you doing? But Fluxx Emerald, with 5 seconds remaining on the time, they have got a double stack here, so they might potentially both be taken down. Never mind the duo inside the hill of DB and Chica, and DB's actually going to manage to grab a kill actually and push itself out the back. So now an opportunity to grab Scotty in the back. He's incredibly close to dropping him. He's so weak. Both players just backing down for the time being. And again, this is what we saw yesterday, wasn't it? Really, in Pablo, yesterday, Pablo. We saw in challenges. I'm sorry, my brain is still fried from yesterday from all the action. But yeah, that P1, it's almost like it just completely gets neglected. If you happen to just run through the hill, it's like, oh, okay, we'll take a second or two. But P2 is pretty much where all the action goes down.
Yeah, I think the only time we saw P1 get any love was when Young Cretins decided they just wanted to end the game and just sat on P1, just decimating Ponder Replay. So, yeah, normally this is just all about setting up for P2. And but right now, Fluxx Emerald they do look like they're trying to get some time on it. So right now, the fight is going to go back and forth, and I expect to see the kind of kill feed be almost tradable. And already we're starting to see that fight over towards 10, and Scooty, apologies, is going to take that victory, and Chica is going to drop, and that's going to be a big win right there. And they can get some points off this, and then they can get rotated for that field hill. And I think Fluxx Emerald have used all their ordnance, so nothing left in the tank to push anyone. This is going to come down to raw gun skill and tactics, and if they want to take this. And again, they've done a great job of just bullying Iniquity Baby from the front.
Yeah, they've broken through again. Rutter managed to grab a couple of kills prior to that. Typical nerd with a nade. Beaker actually manages to get the nade on the enemy team, which kind of helps sometimes. So
Nice.
DB looking for one, looking for the second. Oh, he's not going to quite get it. So it's a really big kill actually for Scotty to stay alive in the back. And he's actually going to spawn his teammates up on him. So a really big moment potentially here for Iniquity Baby. But again, the green arrows, the kill feed lights up green. Other trade's going to be there. Typical nerd. He's going to fly around and grab another important kill. They're still spawning out the back Fluxx Emerald. But with the boys still on the hill, DB potentially pushing through a little bit too preemptively there. We'll get taken down. A Rutter with 2. Oh, can't quite get the third. I thought we were onto a trademark Rutter clip there, but it looks as though Iniquity Baby will get the scrap time, and it's starting to prove to be a typical Barkage, Pablo. It's kind of back and forth,
Yeah.
and there's not much separating these guys at all, really, now.
Yeah, and it's very reminiscent of map 1 now, where we're starting to see Iniquity Baby start to come to life a little bit. The gunfire is more accurate, they're less windy, and yet they're just looking a little bit more solid, and that's got to be a worry. There's 10 seconds again from taking over from Fluxx Emerald, so it's been a hearty performance. You've got to look to Scotty in particular on 29 and 19 with a nice 24 seconds. But one thing that's really impressed me, Kez, on 1 minute 31, you know, he's not had the best game so far, and I think he's realised that and just thought, well, you know, I'll just go in the hill and see how much time I can get and see how much defence I can do, and now he's positive and playing really, really well. So Iniquity maybe just coming to life just at the right time, unless you're a Fluxx Emerald fan, in which case this is probably the worst thing you wanted to see.
No, I think it's just felt like a pacing
another
thing.
TK?
Yeah, they love it, don't they? It's like Iniquity Baby are playing with 5 players at some points, but they are going to manage to drop their own teammate again. DB, yeah, the evil man that time. Nerd looking to try and grab more than one. They still have Rutter inside the hill, but it definitely feels like a pacing thing at the moment for the boys of Iniquity Baby. When they've ramped up the kills and managed to just fly through hills and make trades, they've done a really good job here, and Scotty is kind of leading the line at the moment in terms of kills at 32 and 23, so he's not shy of any engagements. If they can try and keep this pace ramped up at the moment at Iniquity Baby, they definitely seem to be matching them at times in this game.
Yeah, but the thing is, as well, you would normally, like, one of the traits of Iniquity Baby is that they're a very fast side. They're very aggressive. Kez is usually, like, rocking 30 kills in most games, and obviously we would expect to see Higgy doing the same thing. So, if anything, they felt, like, unusually off the pace, a little slow. I don't know whether it's Monday blues. They've played a lot of Call of Duty at the weekend, maybe a bit burnt out, but, you know, they've had plenty of time to prepare and get their energy levels up, but it does look like they just, you know, each kill maybe adds a bit of pace to them, and by the end of the game, they're flying, but, you know, they're 22 seconds ahead, and Kez is potentially was on a streak there. We know Scooty's on a 2, so I don't know, they just seem to come to life just at the right time. Maybe that Tuscans just made them think a little bit about a mid-map regain. Again, I wouldn't put it past Fluxx Emerald though, just to get a little bit of energy towards the end. Rutter's flying on 30 and 28 as well, so you know, this game could go either way. It's Barkage, and you just do not know what to expect. We've seen some absolute madness on this before now, mate.
Yeah, so now those 3 pink arrows of Iniquity Baby going to try and force their way, and they take down one. Rutter going to be there to take down one, and another couple of kills coming through from Rutter. The aggression pays off for him. Once more, Lawson's going to fall as well. So Fluxx Emerald looking to try and take the player down on the hill. Can they manage to do it? They are going to at least get some time now. Streaks are going to come through as well. They're going to look to try and land on the head of Typical Nerd, so he's not really going to have much of a choice at that one, as he will fall. Fluxx Emerald, this is big time for them now. Scotty, though, is he going to manage to grab more than one? No. Only going to manage to grab one. Scooty will manage to reply with a couple of kills of his own, actually. So it looks as though the boys of Iniquity Baby are putting quite a lot of importance on every single second of scrap time. Dawson off the top rope again. Even with 3 seconds left, they're still throwing themselves at pretty much everything, these two teams. They kind of know the importance of every single second of Barkage at the moment, and they are looking for more here as Scooty takes down one. There's another player nearby. His pre-fire. He must have had a call out there because he just looked as though he panic-fired for the time being. But Iniquity Baby still leading ever so slightly. But as you mentioned, Pablo, I mean, this map and these teams just feel like it could go either way at any moment.
Yeah, you've got to feel that P1 is going to be eminently contestable, regardless of how late the kills. I mean, it does look like Iniquity Baby have had the majority of the kills in the last 2 hills. Scooty's on another 5 speed, so a glide bomb is there, which has got to be a worry going into P2 if you're a Fluxx Emerald fan, because they're potentially now going to get, you know, a bit of map control, or lose a bit of map control as that glide comes out. So big moment right now, and it looks like Iniquity Baby may be just happy to just get into a kind of war of attrition over this P1, and we can see the kill feed quite worryingly, mate, going that way of Iniquity Baby. No one made the move yet though, with 7 seconds to try and get that tin control. It looks like Iniquity Baby happy just to just be happy that they've got the spawn so far. A bit of a wild game so far. Looks like the little bit of discipline has disappeared from the game, which you do expect in Barkage, but it's crazy, and it still could go either way.
So Kez gets two. Scotty manages to grab one as well. Chica's doing a good job of just trying to stay alive on the hill for the time being. The nade, though, not going to pay off. Iniquity, baby, they can potentially start to see this one out as Scotty and Scooty combine for 3. And now Fluxx Emerald, this is where potentially they might start to hit the panic button here and throw bodies at this, because it is just all Iniquity, baby. At the moment, that combined streak of 8 now is really starting to show. 20 seconds remaining, and they can actually win off this hill here. But now this is a really big moment. Rutter, he's had a really good series. He needs to take Kez down off the hill. He's going to just try and keep hunting for him, but Kez gets another big kill, and the kill feed lights up pink once more. 10 seconds remaining. Iniquity, baby, are they going to force the game 5 DB? He's been the man of so many big moments in the series, but he's not going to be able to do it. And with 3 seconds left, Pablo, it looks as though we are going to a game 5. Oh, the contest is in. Surely they're going to get this done. What is going on? It's absolute carnage. Oh my god.
How did he slide away?
Oh no.
What was that movement? No.
Oh my god. Are we at?
What has just happened?
Oh, no.
It's got to be.
Okay.
It's got to be over.
Okay. Jeez. I got a bit worried.
What was that movement on field? That was insane. 250 to 197. And Iniquity, baby, this series so far has been absolutely insane. We expect a close match in Bocage, but that was a flying performance towards the end for Iniquity, baby, despite the heroics of Rutter and Chica with some of the best movement we've seen in a while. That was Shotzi-esque movement right there. But yeah, awesome performance to get us to this game 5, and we are back at Berlin, Major. Who'd have thought it?
Man. Well, I mean, the way the first map went, I was thinking we might potentially see a 3-0. Then the map 2 happened. I thought, right, okay, we might see a game 5. And then we saw number 3. It was like, right, okay, it might be another easy win here for Fluxx Emerald. It's just gone back and forth all game. It's been so difficult to read.
The question you got to ask yourself is, though, if Fluxx Emerald don't get 5 TKs in that Bocage, do they win that game?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know really what's going on here at the moment. It's just been so difficult to read. It's like normally you can kind of get an understanding of what you're likely to see, but after that one, I was like, right, well, I'm just gonna shut up at this point, because going into that Berlin, it's kind of a case of, I mean, who you're going for? Take your pick, flip a coin, because the way it's been going, especially, I mean, like you say, it's just been weird, isn't it? We've seen team kills, we've seen loads of streaks, really big moments, and then here we are, game 5 with one more map to go.
A question you'd normally ask is, like, who'd normally take the sniper role for Iniquity, baby, going into this Berlin? And I'm just wondering whether this is going to be a moment where they really are going to miss Higgy. You know, he's going to be
because I don't think Higgy ran a sniper, but I'm trying to think off the top of my head if the other 3 I've ever seen them run one on Berlin. I don't think I have. It's kind of, I say it's a specialist thing, but it's not usually the case of every team will have a sniper to be able to utilize. Obviously, we saw how good Leon can be with it. The old Mistaken Identity lads, so it's kind of something that's a bit few and far between. But I mean, if we see snipers, I'm not going to complain. So
no, I'm not. I think it's, especially on Berlin, it's a handy tool for information. You can get out on that left-hand side, and especially if you're on defense, and just look down and see how many players are pushing across to that B-bomb site. So I don't know. It's a weird one. We'll see what happens as it launches in, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to call this effectively. I don't think. You're not putting your house on it anyway. You can have a tentative guess, but and right now it's an S&D, and it's just so different from Berlin Hardpoint. To just, I don't know. If Fluxx Emerald's other S&D is anything to go by, then I think it's a good night for Iniquity, baby. But again, that was a really weird S&D, because S&D is just such an odd map. This definitely lends itself to a team that are used to playing it, but I don't know. I just got a feeling that Rutter is going to see this over the edge. So I'm going to take back your initial planted flag, and I'm going to go with Rutter now.
Yeah, so Fluxx Emerald. It's been a bit of a messy one here. These are the maps that we have had so far, guys, if you are just joining in. So we had a really good map 1, really emotional one as well. Back and forth it went in that Berlin, and it was Iniquity that came out on top. Of Fluxx came back with 2 maps of their own, 2 very convincing ones. Now Iniquity have managed to fight back with that map number 4, so we're going in towards a Berlin search and destroy, but we're just waiting on the lads to lobby up and get that one underway. And this is currently the bracket for all of you guys who don't know. So Incentive Esports managed to take a win over Divergence Wraith. They push through into that winners final, and so whoever comes out on top of this one, as you can see, game number 2 is going to push through to play Vitalized Black. And it's not a bad roster, Pabs, that Vitalized Black one, with Mr. Terrence Aroma and Johnny W, Smooge and F Dot. Not a bad team. So whoever comes out of this one has got a bit of a tough ask on their hands, regardless. But yeah, it's a tasty division, this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want to come up against them. There's some very straight shooters in that team, and they're looking like very, very capable. Across the board, it's a nice little bracket, actually, so it should shape up to be quite good. They've got to guess the potentially Johnny W. Gabe's team has got to be the favourite there for the win, potentially. But they've got a few teams to come up against who have been playing well together, so Incentive have done quite well. Is Incentive Tesco's team?
Oh man, it's so up. Teams move so much now. I think it might be. I think they've just acquired them actually. I think it is now
Yeah.
Tesco Joey. Awakening. Was it someone? Wait, he's gonna hate me if it is. Actually firing me through for that one. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. A big quick shout out to Ethan and Promise with the follows. But yeah, this is the difficulty when people move orgs all the time. We can keep track normally if like 1 or 2 players leave here or there, but sometimes it's like they move org with the group as a group, and they kind of ping around a lot, so it's difficult to keep track of who's who. Because I think it was Divergent who they've got JT, JMW. I can't remember who the others were. I think Leon might have played in that one actually as well, but they've picked up that team just for the ACCL, so that's going to be a slightly different team and an organisation for that one. So I don't know. I get confused. I just wait for the games to come through and literally say, right, who's playing for you?
What's your roster?
Yeah, literally.
It is changeable, and you would expect that we're in that early stage right now, so teams still getting settled. We saw it in Cold War, where we did see, some organisations just like having like 15 teams, so it's just, we've seen it before, it is how it is.
Firing shots at DSK.
I'm just saying, I listen, if you go into my logo folder from Cold War, the D section is 10 deep, and it's essentially DSK. So yeah, they had like 1 billion logos, and it is the way it is. There's some teams like it. Clarity used to be the same back in the day. I'm pretty certain Reactor 4 Gaming had 3 or 4 at one point, but no, it's a quality bracket, and obviously Vitalized Black looking solid, but this has been a good game so far. It's nice to get to a game 5. It's something that we don't see very often. We see a lot of 3-0s and 3-1s. We see a lot of teams very strong across a certain set of maps, so it was nice to get kind of a very balanced set of maps today that both teams could perform quite well on, and it's ended where it deserves to end. Whether or not Iniquity Baby really need to have a look at potentially the balance of their team at the minute, because you would suspect if that was that full Iniquity Baby roster, that this score probably wouldn't be the same. I think they were probably just a bit too strong, but Russ has done absolute work, and Chica looks an outstanding player, and DB looks like a solid pickup as well. So again, Russ is surrounding himself with quality players.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of the Division 2 games you managed to catch last week, Pabs, but there were loads of Game 5s. There were some really good series as well, so fingers crossed Div 1 is going to provide the same. We do actually have a sub as well, a mid-series sub. Don't often see that. So the boys of Iniquity Baby have got Cogsy in place of Scotty. So, oh well, Game 5, slightly different roster. They're really making it difficult for themselves here, Iniquity Baby. They're just, everyone have a go. Who wants a Game 5?
I mean, Cogsy's a nice sub in. You can't argue with that.
Really a bad sub, is it?
It's not a terrible sub in that, but yeah, an odd one though. You wouldn't expect one of the Scooty Scotty boys to be coming out. I would have expected maybe the other fill-in Lawson to come out, but it is what it is. And the Iniquity Baby looking to mix things up. Maybe Cogsy's an S&D specialist, and maybe Scotty maybe not so comfortable on Berlin S&D.
Sweet Toxic with the follow. So guys, we are now in game number 5 here in the winners bracket of Division 1 of the ACCL playoffs. So plenty to play for here. Some important wins, and Cogsy, first blood right off the rip. There you go, Pablo. We called him out. Decent sub to have, and he's already proving his worth with the first kill, but it looks as though the boys of Iniquity Baby bomb going to be going over towards his site. It's going to get messy. Rutter able to take down one. Typical Nerd's going to grab one as well, but the kills come through, and now all of a sudden Chica, last man up, and he needs at least one pick here, Pabs, because he's got 2 players, and manages to get it. So 1 versus 1.
Very, very lucky to get the man mid animation there to get that pick. But yeah, Cogsy, a very aggressive play from Fluxx Emerald out from the blocks really, and that's cost him. But it comes down to a 1v1, and you couldn't ask for a better 1v1. Kez versus Chica. Chica, who's been awesome all series, and Kez, who's one of our more storied rookies, I would suggest. But big moment, and that's going to be pretty easy for Kez in the end. As Iniquity Baby getting an important round on the board, first S&D win in this series, so. Big round right there, and maybe a confidence builder that we needed them to get.
Yeah, so Kez starting off really well. He's had a rough couple of maps as Mr. Kez, some of them, but he's starting off well in this map. So the boys of Iniquity Baby now 1-0 up. If you did miss the previous maps, guys, they were very good. Feel free to track back and watch them because they were some really good ones, especially map number 1. Very, very close. But map number 2, Pabs, obviously the search and destroy that Fluxx managed to take on that Bocage. It was very one-sided, so you would assume that although Iniquity Baby have gone 1-0 up here, they will still be looking strong on the Berlin as well.
Yeah, I mean they've still got quality players. They still react really well, so you would still accept a bit of a takedown. That's a great bit of play for the trade, and it's going to bring them to a 3 versus 3. Nice and inspected though. And Rutter just doing that job. You expect that trade from Rutter though. This is one thing he is really good at is this kind of performance. So Lawson a little tentative with the sniper. This is not what you want to see. Whether he wasn't able to see him, I don't know, but just a little bit maybe too passive. And this is going to be difficult for him to get a break. And Kez out in no man's land with a big kill on Chica. And we see that fight again. And Kez is 2-0, I would guess, in that very particular. But again, Lawson in this really kind of precarious area with the sniper is not what you want to be. He's going to push through with that handgun. He's seen the player.
Oh, it's getting messy. It's now going to be DB last man up, and they are going to have to hop the defuse, but Lawson keeps him alive, manages to allow Kez to get the defuse, and Lawson just eyeing up the man who has been dropped in the moments prior, and Iniquity Baby 2-0 up. So maybe this is a super sub in Cogsy to come through. Maybe Cogsy's got the big brain plays for them because they're looking all right here. 2-0 up.
Man, if I see a 6-0 in this game, I'm going. I might just not cast again. Honestly, God, this game has just been so wild so far. But Iniquity Baby just look like a different team. Scooty on the 0-2 right now, but Cogsy looking good. But in particular, that Kez just firing on all cylinders. He's on a 3 streak and looking really strong, which he hasn't done all series, realistically speaking. So great plays so far. And Fluxx on the back foot. And again, I would suggest Lawson a little slow off the blocks and a little slow to react. That was a prime opportunity maybe to get a pick across with the sniper. And I think if Fluxx want to get involved in this game, they're just going to have to play to their strengths, which is they're very aggressive and very accurate. So far, it's so good, though, as we see 2 fall. Iniquity Baby now in the deficit.
Chica with a big couple of kills. And one thing I will say is that to have the reaction time to grab the people, I think it's a very select few players that can manage to crack the shot out quick enough with particular timings. But it is now 2 versus 4. Cogsy try and potentially something work here. He does have bomb, but it's going to be difficult with Scooty. He at least manages to get the first pick. So to reduce it to a 2 versus 3, DB is ready and waiting though just around the corner any second. It feels like they're going to have an engagement. Running out of time here, 30 seconds. Oh, and I think they've managed to potentially spot the man on the transition. DB surely going to get a pick. Typical Nerds going to manage to drop Cogsy there, and they are going to drop the final man. So Fluxx finally get around on the board.
Nice patience as well. That's what they needed. They needed information more than anything else. They get that little bit of information, get a pick, leaves them in a 2v1, and that's DB with really good discipline throughout the whole round. He just waited and waited and waited, and was able to get the pick in the end, and it was really easy, and that's get a round on the board, which makes this a hell of a lot more of a competitive S&D than we saw in that first one.
And Charlie with the follow as well a couple of minutes ago. Thank you very much, mate. Sam is asking, how come Cogsy is in now? Yeah, they made a last-minute snub to anyone who didn't know. So game 5, they brought in Cogsy. It seems to have worked so far. A couple of kills already, and it looks as though the boys of Fluxx Emerald are going to try and make a push over towards this B site. And oh man, this timing. Lawson literally the second he pulled a stun grenade out. They'll spot DB and Cup. Manages to couple up with a couple of shots. He's not going to grab the kill though, so he might at least be able to get the bomb down here. Rutter, how many kills can he get? Manages to take down one. There's another one above him. Core can't quite get the second. Scooty with a big couple of kills. Bomb will go down. But that was a really big moment there for Scooty.
Again, Kez just really unfortunate. His timing's been kind of off all game, and he was just unfortunate not to get that pick. And again, you just see that player playing his life. DB with a 2-piece as well, and that's entirely how important it can be. If you just miss that player, his bum cheeks just go round the corner, and he's able to get 2 players. And Kez again in this really awkward situation. I think he's seen his feet though, and he's not going to be able to do anything there. And that's going to leave him in this very awkward predicament of having to defuse. And I think he's been heard, and he's going to get absolutely no. Oh, they're playing with the food now.
I had to be careful there. When he missed the second couple of shots, I was like, oh my God, surely not. Because if that was something that we witnessed, look, typical, a little couple of windies there. And I think the panic set in. He was kind of like, okay, no, I will actually drop him now. But back to side.
Well, you know, you're trying to have a bit of fun in the game, and at the end of the day, you just need to get the job done. It's only 2-all, and you know, one of the things, you know, people can say like, oh, it's just like a bracket thing. It's just a small tournament through the week. But the more you put yourself into these pressing situations, the better you do, the further and deeper you go in these tournaments, the more experience you're going to get. So when you come to play the bigger teams or the better teams, potentially for some of these players wanting to play for pro points, the better your performance is going to be. So it is important to try and take this as seriously as possible, I guess, to an extent, without kind of like losing the vibes. But right now, again, Fluxx Emerald dropped 2 players, and it's going to be a 3v2, and this game's just been back and forth. And again, it does come down a lot of the time the defensive team doing very well. Berlin, obviously, a very defense-heavy kind of map. So right now, Ruta last alive though in a 1v3, and this is going to be a difficult moment. He's going to get a pretty easy kill in the back of this train shed, and right now they're going to have that information. So this could be a pretty easy 2v1 major. I've wrote a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and this is the problem. Got to try and bait out somebody who's the bomb. Oh, he finds no Rutter. Oh, we got some good timing, but Kez mops up the kill, and finally some good timing there for Kez means that Iniquity Baby retake the lead. So Fluxx Emerald taking 2 rounds in a row to tie it up, but they will push it back out now to 3-2. But now we're getting into the stage, Pablo, where they're kind of trading little by little, and it's slowly edging its way towards around 11. I know I called it yesterday and got it right. I don't think I'll get it right potentially this time, 2 games running, but it's looking like a close matchup nonetheless between these two.
Man, you look at the kills, like they're pretty even across the board.
Yeah.
You've got like everyone on 4s almost on Iniquity Baby, and it's a very similar kind of situation over towards Fluxx Emerald. So really, really even in terms of like when. So I would suggest that even Bakaj was a bit of an anomaly. Scooty, a little bit too ambitious. He does get tagged up. Scooty, he just nade himself.
Yeah, I don't know what on earth Scooty has done there. He got stuck on the corner. You could see the panic had set in when he saw 3 players in front of him. And I think he just pulled the pin in his grenade and just said, well, you're not having me, I'll have myself, and just took himself out of the game because this round has gone very tits
It's a
up very
free
quickly.
round.
Yeah.
That is a crazy free round for Fluxx Emerald. In a 1v4. Oh my days, Scooty. That is crazy. I can't remember who I was speaking to the other day, and they were like, yeah, Mondays are always the worst day for scrims because no one can be bothered. So it just looks like both the boys from Iniquity and Fluxx are just having a few off days. I mean, Fluxx Emerald have TK'd so often that I'm sure Iniquity Baby would do one mishap, but again, just that suicide, probably not what they needed, and Lawson with a lot of work to do. I think he's been heard, and that's going to be a pretty easy kill for Fluxx to tie things up in major. We probably heading to a round 11 at some point. The way this is going.
Well, the way the series has gone, it would not surprise me at all if we get around 11 because it's been an absolute
The way
madness
this series
here.
has gone, it wouldn't surprise me. Got a round 12, honestly.
Yeah, it's been an absolute mismatch of misplays and botched jobs, and it's kind of been big bollock scramble all the way through. But Fluxx Emerald are going to tie it back up as the boys of Iniquity Baby drop that round. So it will be Iniquity Baby back on the attack, entering into round number 7. So Lawson is going to put his hands. No, sniper this time. Just the automaton, just counting those players crossing over. So 2 spotted. Oh, but Chica is going to grab the first blood there. So just slightly overpeaks that one. And Lawson's going to fall.
Lawson, man, the kid. He had the opportunity to get even if it was just to get hit markers across, just to slow them down or just to give them something to think about, and he gets dropped in the process. Just bridge watching by a player with infinitely better reactions. So Lawson just let the side down a little bit. He has played quite well in this S&D, and Kez now in a 1v3 situation, and no one needs this against Ruta. I don't care who you're playing against, but Ruta is definitely one of the more intelligent S&D players. So this should be a pretty impressive moment for Kez if he can get this 1v3.
So now, Kez 1 versus 3. 30 seconds left on the clock. Rutter just waiting around the corner. Runs past him. I know one thing for sure with Rutter. He cranks that headset up really quickly. Doesn't hear him, but his teammates manage to drop the kill. So Fluxx Emerald are now going to take the lead. 4-3 up they will go. And now all of a sudden, they're in prime position to take this one.
What is Kez doing? I'm so confused. He just barrels into the bomb site. But the guy's in front of him, the gun's not raised, he's not paying any attention. Honestly, I think Kez is asleep playing this game because I was like, he's going to shoot that player that he can see right in front of him. But no, he decides to just play passively and get taken down. Such weird play for a player as cracked as Kez. But yeah, this Monday definitely shaping up to be a weird one for Iniquity Baby and Fluxx Emerald for the first time take the lead. And again, you can see Kez just having a look to see if he can maybe take Lawson down one more time. But it's going to be a different story this time, and that's going to be a big shot, but a huge moment for Rutter. And Rutter can smell blood. I think he knows that this team aren't as strong as they normally are, and he's gone for the throat. And he's on a 3 streak, no less, as well, which might ultimately play a part if he can get a couple more picks.
Rutter, there's a man down to his left, and oh no, Lawson just saves his teammate in the nick of time. Typical nerd. Can he manage to fly out the back here to try and at least trade one, potentially two? Manages to get the pick onto Lawson. They know where at least one of those players are. Cogsy around the back. Can he help him out? Cogsy the fill-in takes down one, and now it's a 1 versus 1. And this is a huge round here for Scooty. It looks as though DB is just going to hop straight on the bomb. He knows where Scooty is. But now, can he be quick enough to transition over? DB, bomb down, legs it away. Now, can Scooty make the play here? Just on his left, DB spots him. They spot each other. Surely something is going to give. DB just opts to leg it. And he might actually, if he's quick enough here, if Scooty just goes for the bomb, he might be able to get this. I think he's not going to be able to now because DB is just double tracking his own footsteps. Has Scooty played this to perfection? Because DB, oh my goodness. Oh, how have they not seen each other? How has Scooty not seen him? They've literally just run past each other.
That is insane plays, and a lot of work for DB to do. He's played it really well. And he's just going to be able to sit and wait. And if he jumps on that bomb, this is going to be problematic for the team in red. And that's DB again with a solid performance, to take them 2 rounds up. He played that really cleverly. He got far enough away and then doubled back. And although luck plays a part, because they...
Oh, I think I lost you again.
They're one round away from taking this to taking the series 3-2.
Yeah, so
apologies, I can't speak today at all.
Yeah, I lost you halfway through the sentence. It's all right. So if you managed to
mess it up,
definitely
still talking.
Yeah, that's all right. I was just imagining what you were saying, but we were managing the analysis. So now,
just get the pillow out and go to bed. Because honest to God, my mouth's gone. Lawson puts me in the blender. Go on, Lawson, son.
Oh man, well Rutter has just witnessed his friend's body's carcass just flip across his screen. It is now first blood to Iniquity Baby. DB, though, replies with a kill. Now the bomb. Is it going to be able to go down? Typical nerd waiting inside. Manages to take one down. And now it's a 2 versus 3. Iniquity Baby. They really need to work something now. They can't drop any more rounds. Otherwise, this series is done. Lawson with the sniper. Can he potentially make another pick here? This next kill is going to be crucial. And Scooty. 2 versus 3. Scooty exchanging shots across the... He's not going to manage to grab the kill, though. He is going to tag him up. Not going to do just enough. Lawson looks as though he's going on a bit of a flank all the way round, though. So if he hits this quick enough, he might be able to make a play. It looks as though DB might be getting a sneaking suspicion here that somebody might be on the flank. I think he spotted Lawson. Surely now he spotted him. Yep, he spotted him. Oh, the beam's clean enough. No, Lawson manages to get away. They need to try and pinch this quickly. They need to try and get the man out the hill, but there's another man. And it's going to be Rutter re-pinching the player. So now it's all on Lawson. 1 versus 3. 15 seconds left on the clock. He's got to plant the bomb as well, and he's not going to be able to get it done. It's going to be Fluxx Emerald progressing through with a 6-3 win in that Game 5, Pablo.
Yeah, really impressive as well. 3 rounds on the bounce. That was huge plays, and never write Rutter off. He's been a solid player through Cold War, and it looks like he's continuing through Vanguard. It's great to see him back. Iniquity Baby back to the drawing board. A lot of questions to be asked throughout that game. They got kind of slapped in both Bakage's. Actually, Bakage, S&D, and Tuscan, I think they got absolutely ruined in. So, huge plays and huge props to Fluxx Emerald. That was quite the performance, and it's nice to see Rutter back in a team that maybe is worthy of his skills.
Yeah, and it's obviously one where Fluxx Emerald and Iniquity Baby had a couple of changes in terms of subs. Obviously, the Game 5 they had to bring Hogsy in because Gossip couldn't make it. He had football, so not going to be able to, fortunately, save that team, and they will drop that one down, so they will fall down into the loser bracket. And Major, are you going to cast the straight now against these? Oh, so we might actually be having the game straight away after. So are you guys playing right now? If not, because if so, yeah, we'll grab that one if you're playing literally right now. No worries, mate, because I heard 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So if you guys are playing now, I'm sure we'll be down for that one. A bit of a tasty one, that one. The Vitalized Black Lads versus Fluxx Emerald.
Yeah, I'll take that 100%. Want to see how Rutter copes against a team that are definitely, you know, very organised. They played a few times together now as well, and they're coming up against probably one of the hottest properties in COD at the minute. And F Dot, he's an absolute, you know, a lot of people will point Johnny W and point out Aroma, but F Dot frequently gets more
Yeah.
bodies, drops more bodies than both of those players. So definitely a top player to be playing alongside. So this should be a super, I mean, really interesting matchup.
Yeah, so I'll just get it confirmed with the lads. So if you guys did miss that series, that was how the maps panned out. Fluxx going to take it in that game 5, 6-3 on the Berlin. Two really convincing search and destroys from those guys is going to see them progress through the bracket. And just the confirmation there, we are now going to be casting that next game, I believe. Straight away, Vitalized Black up against Fluxx Esports. And fingers crossed, if this works, I can also tweak stuff behind the scenes while the replays from the previous series play. Hopefully it doesn't do me duty. Hopefully it doesn't do me dirty. Yeah, let me just
Do me
make sure
dirty.
that it's going to work. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Oh. Yes, we're good. So yeah, guys, if you did miss those ones, then feel free to watch the highlights. We are just going to quickly have a quick break while we wait for those lads to sort out vetoes, get lobbied up, but don't go anywhere because we will be straight back up that next game in the winners bracket between Vitalized Black and Fluxx Emerald. Commiserations there to Iniquity, baby. They will be dropping into the losers bracket where I'm pretty sure they'll be playing Ricochet, so a big game nonetheless for those boys. But yeah, don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back very, very shortly.
Feeling of love and happiness. So let no one destroy this house. Let no one mess up this house. Only let the people in who's gonna know how to make this house The house of love. 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 Of love.
I've been on my grind and now that's a part of me. Ladies is feeling me, can't get enough of me. They fall in love with me, ready to marry me. Damn.
Oh Lord, how could you ever forget of me? The devil trying to take control of me. And still trying to get rid of me.
They told me no, I had to insist. That was a lie, you gotta resist. Can't take control of me, I got the law with me. Went from the street to the stage, I'll be proud of me.
What up, squad? We back. Slightly different look. And we've got a hell of a game here already. I can see the Goob fans flooding in their numbers. We've got Fluxx Emerald up against Vitalized Black and Techni and Connor as well with the follows. Thank you very much, guys. And perhaps, I mean, where do we start, really? Obviously, we know very well about Fluxx Emerald, but when you look at the other side of Vitalized Black, they've got a couple of players that are all right, you know? They're pretty straight shooters as far as it goes in that team.
Man, that's one hell of a stacked team, isn't it? Vitalize must just be absolutely made up with themselves to have that team playing for them right now. Oh, you know, your obvious picks straight out the blocks are two of the more noticeable kind of like challenger level players in Johnny W and Aroma, obviously. Johnny W's been bouncing around a few teams over the last 6 or 7 months and is just a really big brain on the map. He's just one of the straightest shooters you're likely to come across. Aroma's very, very experienced. He's a good kind of in-game leader. He's very, very mouthy in-game as well. Loads of communication. He's absolutely awesome. He's just he's a good personality to have in a team as well. He's just absolutely brilliant personality. He's a lot of fun to listen to as well. And then you just look at F. Dot and Smudge, and everyone's like, "Oh, they must be made up." No, man. I'm telling you right now, Johnny W and Aroma are made up to be playing with a player like F. Dot because he drops some numbers. And then you go to Smudge, and it's like, yeah, sometimes Smudge drops more numbers than F. Dot. So, yeah, this is a hell of a side. You know, you would expect this to be a T16 kind of, potentially a top 16 challenger team.
This is like,
100%.
obviously, because we know F. Dot and Smudge very well, we casted over them quite a lot of time. But when you look at this roster, it's almost like you've got two really experienced players that are very good at the game with two players that you look at as arguably the two best up-and-coming, like, very young players in the scene. So the more these guys get reps with these kind of players and pick up little bits of knowledge, you mentioned Johnny W, brilliant player as far as game knowledge goes. He's a very, very smart player. You look at these two and go, right, if you can leech any sort of knowledge out of these two guys while you're playing with them, take it, because all it's going to do is make them even better. And Mr. Gabe is coming in top 64. He put question mark. But yeah, when you put these two up with Gabe and with Johnny W, you've got almost a perfect combination to help nurture these kind of players in the scene, which you just can't complain when you see it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that last sentence at all because your audio cut out.
Does it keep cutting out? Chat, does my audio keep cutting off, or is mine all right? I'll have to ask the chat. I don't know
I
if
think
it's...
it could be a parsec thing, you know.
Yeah, but the audio's coming through Discord, isn't it?
Oh shit, yeah, man. I have no idea. I'm losing my brain.
I think you might. I think the Rover's calling you out for calling him Top 64. He says, "Are we mates?" So-
No, it said if they were like if they stuck together as a 4-piece, I said they're definitely top 16 material, top 64. I wouldn't do that to the guy. No, the top 16 material definitely. When you look at the kind of teams that have been hitting depends just how much they're going to be sticking together and what kind of what kind of longevity this team has, whether the two guys are just filling in, and quite happy to do that. One thing I would say is, and you're quite right, is if you are F. Dot and Smudge, is just absolutely batter the two for information.
Literally, just teach me the game. That'd be great.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because like sometimes it freaked me out. Obviously, the first time I came across like a Roman any really serious way, he was doing the VODs, and that's where I was like, the map control that they were able to employ was just unreal, and that was on something as known as Raid. So even I was like an eye opener in a map that pretty much had been going for years. So yeah, the lad's definitely talented, and Johnny W's the same as well. He's superbly talented, and then they're backed up by these two crazy rookies. But again, they're coming up against a team that just seem to be quite unpredictable, and even though we expect Vitalized Black to do quite well, it's just nice to see Rutter in and about these names again, because he did so well at the start of Cold War with JMW and JT, and that it's nice to see him back in these kind of conversations again. He definitely deserves another shot, and if anyone knows the game as well as anyone, it's Rutter as well. So it could be an interesting game. I suspect it's going to be a difficult one for the boys in green, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's definitely one where you don't want to write off Fluxx. Then, like you say, they do seem like a bit of a wild card team. They have maps where they look really, really strong, and maps where you think, oh, they've let that one slip a little bit, with a little bit of moments where they're a bit questionable in some of the things that they do. But when they're on point, they play really, really well. Oh, Mr. Dane raiding with the 10 viewers. Thank you very much. The man has the best dog videos to get his stream up I've ever seen. Trust me, follow him on Twitter. You will not be disappointed. I love him when he shares them. Thank you very much, Dane. It's worthy of one of those. Thank you very much, brother. And yeah, so guys, if you are just joining us, we've got Fluxx Emerald up against Vitalized Black here in these ACCL Division 1 playoffs. We've got a few superstars just lurking in the Vitalized Black roster. But then likewise, as you mentioned, Pabs, you can't write off Vitalized Emerald, because when Rutter's playing well, he's a very good player. It's a typical nerd as well, that they're a big player as well for them. They've got a very good core 4. I think it's just a case of whether they can get the consistency over the maps against this Vitalized Black team. I think that's the main factor probably for them.
Yeah, and the other thing obviously is that they've got to consider is that they played the Iniquity Baby, who came out the blocks relatively slowly. That's probably not going to be the case from Vitalized Black. They're going to come out, firing on all cylinders. Johnny W's been playing all day because he streams quite early, as does Gabe. So these guys are going to be thoroughly warmed up and ready to play. And F. Dot and Smudge are just, they're both cracked players. So from the outset, they're going to need high energy. They're going to need to be concentrated. Their communications is going to have to be on point at the highest possible pace, because they're entering into a world of pain, essentially, in Call of Duty terms. So this should be interesting. Again, though, anything possible. Rutter's smart enough, especially in S&D. We saw how strong they were in S&D, and it can be anyone's game at the best of times. But these guys from Vitalized Black probably are not going to make any mistakes the way that the guys in Iniquity Baby did. So I suspect it's going to be, a lot more difficult for the boys from Emerald. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, and honestly, it should be entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, and we do have our maps, guys. So this is our map pool. This one, we've got another sandwich. This time, Gavutu. Going to be the stuffing in the middle. We've got Berlin either side of it, and then Tuscan to start us off and end with if we do require that game 5. So Tuscan hardpoint, Berlin search, Gavutu and Berlin for the next 2 hardpoints, and Tuscan search and destroy. Is there a particular map, Pabs, that sticks out to you when you look at those ones?
I mean, again, it's got to be Gavutu, hasn't it? Just because when it turns up, it's such an odd one. It's so easy to, if you can get that glide in the first 2 hills, then it's an easy one to control. Honestly, I'd just be interested to see how they get on in that Berlin S&D, because they were so close in the other game. But I really don't think it's going to matter. Maps don't really matter as much now when you come up against the team with this kind of skill. So yeah, absolutely just expect Gavutu maybe to be potentially an interesting one, because we do see good teams kind of get surprised over and over again. We've seen like Steve Vortex's team go 100 down and then come back. So Gavutu maybe, but I mean, I don't know. This is just going to come down to, can Flux Emerald, can they hang with the capabilities within Vitalized Black, and are they going to be able to maintain the energy required to stay on them?
Yeah, and it looks as though all the big goof fans are coming through, Mr. Soy Soy, with the, the game emotes. You'll love to see it. He's obviously a man that's got a huge amount of following, Babs, as well. Something that's not easy to do when you start up streaming is to build like a community and a fan base, and that is something that no one can ever take away from Gabe, is the amount of people that have just kind of swarmed towards him, because he's just one of those naturally charismatic streamers that just everyone loves to beat, even just in the chat. Even when I'm not doing anything, it's like, oh, it's CS Aroma streaming, but you go in the chat. That's something that you can never really put an emphasis on, how A, difficult it is to do in terms of the consistency of streaming, and B, kind of what a personality you have to be in order to build that community. And that's something that he's done absolutely full since he's pretty much started.
Right, you can't take away from the fact that he's a smart guy. He realised early on he'd been bopping around a few different challenger level teams, and I don't know, he wasn't struggling, but I just think he just thought, you are a brand. Like, you see these players, we added at the weekend, I don't want to name any names, but they come on and say, don't stream us. And you're like, I'm not being funny, no one massively gives a shit about the game other than you. You're in the shop window to see how far you can take your career. And I think Gabe's realised that fairly early on, and he's just put so much commitment into it. They're not just streaming. You see a lot of people stream kind of later into the day, early evening. He's up at 10, streaming from 10 right the way through. He's got a really strict regime about it, and he's just done so well. He's realised that he's a brand in himself. He's super entertaining. His streams are always, they're always super lively, and he's still a good player as well. So he's got like quite a lot in the back pocket, and it's not a surprise the team more picked him up, because he can definitely go different places. He's a good content creator, and he's a boss personality as well, and he's a highly experienced player with a lot in the back pocket.
Yeah, and guys, just double checking to make sure if it is. I'm pretty sure it's winners final. So let me just check the bracket here. Oh, it's not. I've been an absolute mong. It's not. It's winners semis. Apologies, guys. I've completely whiffed that. So quickly update. I'm looking at the completely wrong part. So yeah, the winners final will be potentially up against Incentive Esports. Got ahead of myself here. Perhaps I've had it's Monday. It's Monday in a nutshell for us.
I'm getting ripped on Twitter now as well, so I'm done. I'm picking the guitar up and just noodling while you cast.
Yeah. So my mistake, guys. It is winners semis. I have just quickly updated. Oh, we're blessed with Call of Duty royalty. Elsa Rooney. Oh, I'm with the follow as well. That's worthy of a few of them. Thank you very much, Kelsey. But yeah, this is the semi-final, guys. Apologies, the boys completely fat-fingered that. It is not a winners final. That one is going to be up against Incentive Esports. So the other games, Divergence Wraith, going to drop down into that losers bracket, and whoever loses this game will drop down to play London Varsity. So we've got plenty of action still to go. Not all of the games are going to be played this evening. There will be, I think, final. I don't know if Prezzi's still here, so he'll confirm when that final game is. But it's not going to be this evening for the grand finals. But we will, I think, see this game, and maybe, well, us personally won't see another game, but there might be some others going on after this one if the guys are playing later on. But yeah, we'll have to see how that one goes. But yeah, Fluxx Emerald up against Vitalized Black. We're just waiting on the guys to lobby up. I don't know where they are with the invites. COD players fashionably late. Perhaps they were like, are you ready? We'll go straight away. We're still waiting. I know Johnny W sat on the shitter, so he's taking ages. He's just chilling with his phone. Just
Mate, you can't knock someone. You've got to put aside a good 7 or 8 minutes when you go to the toilet with your phone.
It's like if you go to work, it's like if you're getting paid and you're on the toilet, you take your phone with you. You chill out.
I've done the maths on this one. Right, I've done the maths on this one. You can get like about 4 days off a year from good quality long shit on the toilet. So honestly, the maths is there. It's backed up. Take your time. Take your phone. Bang out a few TikToks and you're good to go.
I got TikTok. Whenever it's come up, whenever someone sends me like a TikTok video to watch, I'll watch it. And the suggested ones that I'm in there are like, what on earth is this? I can see the amusement in TikTok, but I don't think I could ever bring myself to
the algorithm essentially just ends up being boobs and dogs.
What have you been watching, Pabs? They're like, right, let's see.
Honestly,
what this
it is not. I thought it was just me, and then I look at other people's TikToks, and theirs is the same essentially.
Fair, that is a formula for success, boobs and dogs.
Yeah, honestly, that's what Sledgehammer need to bring in to settle the competitive problem. Just boobs and dogs. They've got dogs now. They just need to bring the boobs in, and they're settled.
This is the ultimate combination. But yeah, guys, I'm pretty sure we haven't had an invite just yet. Let me. Yeah. anything come through.
Rather worryingly out of water as well, so expect the voice to go completely at some point.
It's all right, mate. Just wave a little flag, and I'll just cover it while you get your honey and lemon tea. And Charlie with the follow, thank you very much, buddy. And I think the RL, thank you very much, mate, with the follow earlier. Apologies if I missed that, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. The Mighty Coob is bringing through the troops, unsurprisingly. Obviously, all his fans and that love to see him play every single day. So I assume they want to see him come up with the dub here, Pabs. But map 1, obviously, for any of you guys who haven't seen them, we're going to be looking at that Tuscan hardpoint. Is there any... You've flagged up the Gavutu. Tuscan, obviously, we know can be a bit of a hit and miss one for some teams, but you still potentially look to Vitalize to look pretty organised, at least, with the quality of the players that they've got on.
Yeah, I think a lot of the conversation comes down to our lack of knowledge of Chica and DB and that, and just how they're going to play, how fast paced and how accurate they can be. I think they're going to have to come out the blocks flying, stay energized, and just try and get as many points on the board as early as possible. Obviously, they're going to hit those problematic kills as we get over towards Water Fountain, and the experience will probably start to tell. It's just the problem you've got here is that you're up against a team where if you keep one player quiet, they've got 3 other players who can just absolutely dominate a map. And the other problem you've got is if 3 of them have quiet games and 1 dominates the map, it's going to be a solid foundation for a win. So right now it is an uphill climb for Fluxx Emerald, but it's not entirely insurmountable, and ultimately this is the kind of level they need to be playing at. These are the players that they should be testing themselves against, and I'm sure Russ is already aware of that and is probably going through the motivational speech right now with the rest of the lads. So yeah, let's just see how they get on. I mean, they've coped quite admirably against an Iniquity baby side who is reasonably good. So I'm still going to plant my flag with Vitalized Black just because I'm a bit of a shithouse.
Yeah, no. As much as we try and sit on the fence, I think when you look at that Vitalized Black roster and you look at kind of the experience they've got and kind of how players rank, especially Johnny W, Aroma, like consistent T6. If it's like anything other than T16, it's like, geez, they've had a mare. What's going on? So they've got kind of a quality of player in there that is very difficult to come by. And
sub off Wake. Sub off Wake. Let's go.
And Wake with the subs. Thank you very much, guys. One absolute bunch of legends worthy of a big old C. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, so I mean, we're just waiting on this one to get going. Yeah, if you're planting a flag, your head is staying Vitalized Black. I'd love to see Fluxx Emerald make a go at it. So if it can be, like we say, a bit of a scrappy one where they're playing at a very, very fast pace. You never really know. You might get something that could potentially be a bit of an upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's Monday and stranger things have happened. We've just seen an Iniquity baby get 6-0'd in S&D, so stranger things have happened. But I would just suggest that potentially Vitalized Black have just got that extra gear to go through as well, which maybe Russ's team don't have. Again, though, I mean, you look at the map set and it's pretty standard. There's no kind of outliers there. Gavutu, maybe 3-4 weeks ago was kind of like a gasp. Someone's chose Gavutu, but everyone kind of understands it now and sees the pattern and how to play it. So no outlier maps, no Desert Siege, no Demyansk. So it's pretty standard fare. These guys are going to all be used to it, but I just think, with Berlin playing like a Cold War map almost, it's going to play into the hands of Vitalized Black, and then you have the crazy cracked play of F-Dot and Smudge supported by all that experience. Then, I mean, it's difficult to read past a Vitalized Black 3-0, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure Charlie is chilling in the chat with the world's biggest smile, knowing that he's got this team of 4 representing his org at the moment. Some extra followers coming through as well. Thank you very much, DFB. Also, Ellen, thank you very much for the follows, guys, and all the additional subs, and just for chilling with us babblers. But we go in towards map 1 here, guys, in this winners semi-final between Fluxx Emerald and Vitalized Black, and it looks as though it's going to be the boys of Fluxx Emerald that might be looking to get some early time here. A bit of pitch coming through from Mr. Terrence himself, or Mr. Aroma, for anyone who doesn't know. I'm pretty sure you probably do, though. Causing chaos in GBs pretty much every single day, is almost manages to grab a couple of kills straight away, right off the rip. But I suppose it's a case now for Fluxx Emerald, Pablo. They've got to try and keep these big hitters quiet, especially in the respawns.
Yeah, and not just that, they've got to really understand and read the game a little bit better. They kind of pushed onto P1 as a whole, and you already saw. I think it was obviously Gabe and I believe it was Smudge who pushed out, through middle and flanked ever so slightly, and that's going to give them that little bit of hill time and that small advantage. And obviously you can already see out the blocks of Roma's just a super capable player, and his reaction time's really good as well. So right now, it's just looking solid for the boys in terms of kills, but again, they've got to turn that round to time. And Fluxx Emerald going toe to toe right now, so it still could be a very interesting game. But again, they've got to maintain this energy and this pace. And just look at Johnny W already on its head.
Yeah, and that is a full-man wipe there, Johnny. Going on a bit of a streak here at the moment. Only 2 in a row at the moment, but the boys now of green, Fluxx Emerald, are going to try and work their way through. Johnny W just staying alive. Smudge keeping an eye over the top, and it's like when you go from one name to another, Pabs. It's like you don't go from one weak spot to a good player back to a weak spot. You go from one good player to another good player to another good player, and at the moment they just seem to be taking it in turns of just kind of just slaying out Fluxx Emerald. It looks as though they forced an early rotation, and with 17 seconds worth of scrap time, Fluxx Emerald are already retreating for New Hill.
Yeah, and that's right. That's a worrying sign already, because that's not. They're going to have to hold it to this next hill, this really difficult water fountain hill, for an incredible amount of time. And this usually stays quite contested. It's really difficult to hold on to. And Vitalized Black, you can see already having a conflab over towards the top roof, make a decision. Some great kills from Rutter. It's the 3-piece, no less. So big moment right there. And he's done a great job to see them off, and they're getting time they didn't necessarily deserve. So hats off to them for that. But again, this is going to be a huge moment as the glide ball comes in, and they're going to get some more kind of map control.
Yeah, F-Dot looking to try and grab some kills as well himself. He's going to get taken down. Smudge still working on a streak at the moment as he's managed to push it out to 7. Has invested the glide bomb. He's going to tag up Chica just a little bit, but now can the collapse come through? F-Dot through the top isn't going to be able to grab a kill. They've still got Chica out the back that they need to try and budge here as he's just behind the heady. Gabe Chow's not able to win that one. Smudge will be there for the trade, and with 15 seconds left, to be fair, Fluxx Emerald, they've held a hill that isn't necessarily the easiest to hold, but now again, race to rotation. Gabe is going to be there early doors, and it looks as though the boys of Fluxx Emerald, they're going to have to try and work their way through middle map, but they're doing a good job of it, at least for the time being. DB flies through the hill, isn't able to take down the unit that is Johnny W. Still going strong, our Vitalized Black in terms of kills, but Rutter, can he be the X Factor here, Pablo? This is the question. When Rutter's on his game, he is very unpredictable and very difficult to beat in respawns, but they've done a good job vitalizing. It looks as though early time it's going to go in their favour.
Yeah, it's been a really superb performance so far from Fluxx Emerald, and in particular, obviously, Rutter trying to drag his team through this match, and he doesn't surround himself with players who are in any way windy or incapable, so you would expect them to put up a good fight, but right now, they're toe-to-toe, they're only 15 seconds, and they are getting the fights, and they're keeping the players quiet as well. You know, you would normally see F-Dot well and truly into kind of like approaching 20, and he's 10-10 right now, so it's been an absolutely standout performance so far from Fluxx Emerald, and they're just showing that they aren't here to make up the numbers. They actually want to get a win. It's the worrying kind of factor is, can Vitalized Black just go through another gear? Probably can. Smudge is already kind of playing very well. Wouldn't surprise me if he already has a streak in his back pocket. But again, I just think maybe Vitalized, if they just push on and just ramp up the energy a bit, it's going to be difficult for Fluxx Emerald to keep up with them.
Yeah, so DB inside the hill, not going to be able to win that one. Rutter going to try and fly up through bottom, manages to grab the first kill. And those green arrows looking to try and work their way up through bottom. It looks to be the only real route. Doesn't guarantee a nade straight to the face. He looks to try and grab one, but Johnny W manages to absolutely beam him there. Chica going to fall. Looks like Rutter is going to be the last man nearby. Flies around the corner. That is trademark Rutter there. Balls to the wall. Throws himself at it. Not going to be able to win the gunfight. And Vitalized Black at the moment, they're doing a really good job on this. And this is the danger. As F-Dot's managed to accumulate 5 in a row. And what I would assume to be a glide bomb. Yeah, and he has. The Smudge has still got the strafing run as well. So in terms of kills now, Fluxx Emerald, as much as they need time, they need to be careful as well. Because they're starting to let this one fall away from them.
Yeah, and you've just seen the kill feed just almost go to a bot lobby there. It's entirely blue. And almost at will, they're able to get streaks, and F-Dot just started to pick the pace up. And we did point out earlier on that the F-Dot and Smudge potentially are the more cracked players, and they will get that solid support from Johnny W and from Gabe as well. So huge plays out of the 2 young rookies that came out to the ACCL last year, and they are just a dominating factor in this game. You know, Smudge is well above being in a 2KD, and he's just absolutely dominating Fluxx Emerald. We did kind of expect this, but I mean, hats off to Fluxx. They stayed toe-to-toe for some time, but it's just so difficult to match the energy and pace of a team that is this stacked. And right now, they're obviously bringing in that air ordnance just to control the map a little bit more. DB looks a bit lost at sea as well, mate.
Yeah, good shots coming through once again, but Chica and the boys managed to actually break their way through. And quickly, just a shout out as well to my good Scottish man in Oliver. Thank you very much for the gifted sub, brother. And oh, there's also a C in there as well from Mr. Sarge. Thank you very much, guys, for all the support. So now over towards the next hill, Vitalized Black, 70 points to the good, but that's a lot better there from Chica. A bit of a quiet game by his standards from what we saw in the previous series, and now we're going to see whether Vitalized Black can make the initial push hit. DB made in hand. Ready, and we fingers crossed in this one. He doesn't manage to tag up his teammate as much as I think it was Ruster and Chica that had a bit of a battle of teammates in the last series.
Full team trade, absolutely full team trade of TKs, absolute plays. But they've done well. They've got round to, and they've managed to scrape 20 seconds for free almost off this hill. They do need to win some gunfights, and that's unfortunate. This Smudge does drop, typical nerd there, so that's going to just allow a lot more. And again, you just see an awesome plays from FDOT. He's such a crack player, and he's so accurate at times, and that's the problem. They're just able to bully onto the hill, and they've got themselves a free 26 seconds almost if they can win these gunfights, and that's going to be an important kill right there. Smudge does drop DB, so right now, nice bit of scrap time going the way of Fluxx Emerald, though. So, you know, again, this could go either way, but it looks like the boys from Vitalized Black are now going to be set up on the second rotation for that fountain kill, which they weren't in the previous rotation. So this is a problem for Fluxx Emerald, and this is going to be an important break right now.
Yeah, so now, and the boys of Fluxx managed to try and disrupt something here on the Fountain Hill. It's going to be difficult, and Johnny W is going on the flank. This is being talked about, Pablo. The big brain plays, and Johnny just cuts through two. And that is nice work once again from Johnny W. Had a bit of a slow start by his standards, but two really important kills, and he's going to just bottle Fluxx Emerald over towards that left-hand side. Smudge, though, going to be here. Takes down one. Rutter is there for the trade. FDOT and Gabe are still going to be here as Gabe grabs one. FDOT still keeping his head down on the hill, and this is now looking a bit dangerous here for Fluxx Emerald, Pablo, because they are starting to get red for their spawns. They're starting to get taken down one at a time, and it's just a really good hold on this hill from Vitalized Black, at least in the early stages, but they just about get in.
Yeah, really nice play from DB there, and typical nerd just to break that. And that's an awesome bit of play to get that 15 seconds of scrap time. But again, you're starting to see this kind of like death by 1,000 cuts as Vitalized Black just take the 35 seconds from the hill, 40 seconds, and move on to next. Got no issues letting the boys in green have that scrap time. Rutter trying to do everything he can. He's had an absolutely awesome performance, 23 and 23 right now with a solid 30 seconds. But again, it's just unfortunate for him that Cheek has just gone off the boil, and typical nerd hasn't had a particularly great game, but it's so difficult when you consider the pace and accuracy of the team that they're playing. And again, look at that setup. Team Mike goes in and they've got just an easy 30-second hold inside Church, which normally is like super contested.
So now this is the difficulty for Fluxx Emerald. They've got to get in, and they've got to get in quick, but they can't afford to keep staggering it. Rutter is the bait. Falls straight into the blender. You can see Smudge going around the corner. He's going to have a gunfight. Typical nerd. Able to take down one. Can he take down the second? No. Johnny W's there for the trade. Only a few seconds remaining. But now, Mr. Gabe, it looks as though he's going to be soaking up the remaining time, and 1 second remaining now. This is looking difficult here for Fluxx Emerald if they clear Rutter out, which they do. Map number 1 is going to go in their favour, and it will. Vitalized Black going to take it 250 to 138.
You know, we hate to say it, but you know, I mean, it was always going to be the case. It was going to be super difficult for Fluxx Emerald to be able to stay at the pace of the likes of FDOT and Smudge, and when you've got the backup, which is as talented as Johnny W and as Aroma, then it becomes really, really difficult. You just look at the, you know, when we've got players like Johnny W who will just, he'll drop someone and immediately look to go to the trade. And try and drop that player. That's why he's able to get these 2 pieces and 3 pieces. And, you know, they were taking 35 seconds, 40 seconds off a hill and quite happy to just rotate, you know, get killed and push on to next. So a really solid performance and a good, you know, if anyone wants to break that down, a really good example of how to kind of like dominate a Tuscan hardpoint in relative ease as well. You know, you look at the scoreline, it's well over 100 seconds clear.
Yeah, so confirmation for you guys. Map number 1, Vitalize are going to take it 250 to 138, and we go back to the balloon search, Pablo. And the last time Fluxx played this, they dropped it to Iniquity Baby, and obviously up against a different outfit this time. It's a map where they're really going to need to pull all the stops out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it if anything, you would suggest that the map that really separates teams in terms of skill and capability is Berlin. Normally a Berlin hardpoint, but in particular Berlin S&D, things can get really, really difficult for you when you've got a very capable side. But what we did see in the previous game was a Fluxx Emerald side that absolutely dominated 6-0. So, you know, hopefully we're going to see them be able to take a couple of rounds, or at least, you know, at least perform to the kind of standard that we saw in the previous game. But again, you know, you don't know whether that was down to the X factor in Lawson over on Iniquity Baby being problematic, or, you know, the chemistry in the team being down. And we, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw kind of a high scoring game in terms of being 6-1, 6-2 to Vitalize Black. But again, S&D also is that kind of level playing field where you can get that little bit of luck. But again, I think we're going to see Johnny W with the sniper and just causing problems. Honestly, I just think this is going to be an interesting map. We might see some world stars coming out.
Yeah, and I think there was a little thing going on with Ollie, because I think Kelsey said if Gabe goes positive, he'll drop him a follow. So I think Ollie is now the happiest man on the planet. He's got the Kelsey Rooney follow. Not many people could go with that one. But yeah, map 2 is now getting underway, guys. Berlin, Search and Detroit should be switching over very, very shortly. And yeah, so Fluxx Emerald, they're going to have to.
We were so close to casting over Kelsey Rooney, weren't we? They played so early on that Challengers Cup 2.
Yeah,
they
got so close. Literally, it was game 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, they played their games on Sunday so early, though, that we didn't get to cast it. They played at like 11:30, and it wasn't meant to kick off till 12. And we were like, why? I sent CD a message like, why did you do that? It's like dying to cast over them, but never mind. Is that me that I was randomly brought up?
Yeah.
You've randomly brought up the replay screen. There we go.
There we go. You can see all nice and clear now. The technical difficulties almost at the way. But yeah, Kelsey's going to have to give the boys a bollocking for the next time. We're going to have to see them in on Championship Sunday for one Challengers Cup at least in the time being. But with the ability on that team, I mean, you're surely thinking that they're going to get there eventually. It's just a matter of when, really.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked really strong. I know CD's super disappointed in the performance coming out of Saturday, but I'm sure he'll pick himself back up, and that team will as well, and a solid performances all round. But yeah, really look forward to casting over them on Sunday. Obviously, it'd be great to see quality kind of representation in there. But right now, Vitalize Black going down. Fluxx Emerald looking very good for the money from the previous round. They did so well, so this is a big opportunity, though you do need typical nerd to be able to be less windy than that, and that's going to be Chica with a big kill as well, and that's someone you really need to look to play really, really well, and it's a 2v1 right now, and this is a big opportunity between these two players, and I'm almost certain, you know, Rutter shouldn't let the side down. I'm sure he's going to have some big brains going into this.
Yeah, and Smudge has got a difficult position now because he's got to try and get bombed down as well, and second, I think he's going to get spotted. He will. Rutter, bullets in the back, manages to grab the kill, and Fluxx Emerald with a good opening round there. 1-0 up they will go. If you guys did miss map number 1, it was a Tuscan hardpoint, and Vitalize Black managed to take it 250 to 138. And as mentioned, Pablo, they're gonna have to look to the search here. It looks as though the respawn prowess of Vitalize Black really came to the front. So it's kind of a situation that we tend to see quite a lot, where you think, right, okay, if you're not going to look that strong in hard points, you at least need to take a search. Obviously, now it's difficult with 3 hard points, pretty much. You've got to at least try and pinch one. But yeah, it's one that Fluxx Emerald, they really need to get off and kick in here. But they've done a good job 1 round and 1-0 up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, obviously, that 2 hardpoint meta really causes problems for teams that are much stronger than S&D. Rumour has it, though, that tomorrow we might see a patch that is going to solve the spawn issues, and we might see Control come on back sooner rather than later. You heard it here first, potentially. I can't say where that information came from, but that is potentially on the card. So Fluxx Emerald, though, not dropped the map so far, and S&D on Berlin today, and they continue their domination as they drop that 3-1, and that is a quick win. And let's be honest, Major Fluxx Emerald look absolutely awesome on Berlin so far.
Yeah, they've managed to work around the pick as well, rocking the sniper of Fluxx Emerald, so they've managed to make the second round work as well, and a bit of a cushion there, 4-0 for Chica at the moment, and a pretty convincing one, so it have to look for potentially the big brains on the side of Vitalize Black, a potential W, a bit of magic, the search and destroy. Yeah, Vitalize Black at the moment, struggling at the moment. It's going to be the 2 cracked players, or should I say the 2 goats of the team in Mr. Terrence, Mr. Johnny W as well. So still waiting for their first picks. But I mean, with these guys, it's only a matter of when, really. But Fluxx Emerald 2-0 up, looking good. Rutter going to just be waiting. It looks as though the chaos is about to ensue. Any second now. Nice kill from Rutter. Takes down one. Game looking for the trade. It's going to be inside, and he's just going to get the bomb down almost instantly. Not messing around. And Vitalize Black, this is looking like a much better round for them.
Yeah, a lot more solid, a lot more controlled. I think there might be a little bit of complacency that's just crept into the game where they kind of a bit of a slap in the first one. And I think they've realised that Flux Emerald are no pushovers in Berlin S&D in particular. And obviously, if they were watching that 6-0, they may have already realised that. But a good performance out of them so far. And with 23 seconds, a lot of work to do for typical Nerd. What an absolutely awesome shot, Donny, is going to get taken down. Again, we talk about that lack of efficiency in the sniper rifle, and it gets shown there.
Yeah, so Vitalized Black taking that round there just to reduce the deficit back down to 1, Mr. F. Dot. Man, pay me for saying it, but he's on for great things. Call of Duty F. Dot. The numbers that he's put in. I remember when he was on, I think it was Real Gaming, and people were saying, "Nah, this man's hacking. He's definitely got hacks."
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
"Right, okay, straight away, no messing
100%.
about." Monitor cam was still frying, and everyone was like, "Okay, yeah, he
Yeah.
might actually be quite good." So
I do remember them days as well, man. That seems like last year. Oh, it was last year. Never mind. But yeah, huge plays. DB still to get off the mark. So Flux Emerald doing quite good for the money as well. Bearing in mind, DB hasn't contributed anything other than death so far. Everyone off the board on Vitalized Black, which has got to be a worry if you are a Flux Emerald fan in any way. F Dot again putting up the big numbers, and he's so good. His reaction times are great, and JW with a big kill there. That's going to be huge. Dropping Rutter and typical Nerd again left in that rather difficult position of being in a 1v4 with a sniper rifle in hand.
yeah, it's kind of the position now. To be fair, typical. He's getting picks. It's just a case of, like you mentioned, DB's having a bit of a struggle at the moment, so it's kind of not really coming to fruition. But as long as he's getting picks, you can obviously keep justifying the use of it. But yeah, in those situations where you get kind of up close and personal, especially with an SMG in some of those buildings in Berlin, it's all well and good having a sniper at the start, and if you've got the bomb down, but kind of that middle game transition is very difficult unless you are literally hitting every shot as you get it.
Yeah, I mean, you really do need that first blood, or at least, the very earliest possible kill that you can get with it, and then get that information across to your team so that they can make use of that man advantage. And if that doesn't happen, it starts to become obviously very difficult to make use of that sniper in any effective way, other than potentially as suppression if you've got bombed down. And again, it makes it a very difficult position to be in. You can argue the effectiveness, but a lot of time, if he is getting picks, then it comes down to the team to do just as well. But right now, it's still in this what we thought. The Rutter does drop, and that's a big blow for the guys from Flux Emerald who lose a potentially very intelligent player on the map.
Yeah, and I just tried to switch to typical Nerd there because I saw he got the first snipe, and he's actually going to crack a second one out as well onto Smudge. Looking for the third, and Terrence, Mr. Gabe, holds strong. Doesn't allow any more kills to come through. He's still got another man. Pico just outside, though. Is he going to manage to grab another one? Smudge on the corner. Gabe with another big kill. So now DB, last man up, is going to be working his way around the back. And I'll tell you what, he might potentially be able to pick Gabe off the bomb. Not going to check. He's going to try and sneak his way out the back, but Effort's going to be here. And he manages to fry him as well. Really big kill from DB. So now 1 versus 1 up against Gabe, the man who is unknowingly loved in the COD community now. I'm sure they're all, as much as they banter him, they want him to kind of go big here. 1 versus 1 has spotted DB. The big moment here for the boys. Vitalize and for Fluxx currently tied up. Down they go.
Ringa Rosie.
Yeah, it's literally like cat and mouse as we're used to seeing. It looks as though Gabe is going to do a runner here, potentially play the time. He's just toying with DB at the moment. Back and forth they go. DB is still trying to find him. He cannot seem to find where he is. Is he going to get the kill? No, Gabe gets the kill to go with it as well. A bit of a violation that round, and Vitalized Black taking the lead once more.
Yeah, and that's got to be a worry if you're a Flux Emerald fan. They don't appear to be like pressing very hard. They're not very aggressive. They're taking it quite slowly, and they're still able to get into the lead, despite this clearly being Flux Emerald's probably preferred map. Good play all round. Rutter dropping early was probably a bit of an issue for them. He's obviously very intelligent on the map, and once he goes, they do look a bit lost at sea. And then DB last alive and a 1-5, probably not the best person you want in that situation. Again, typical Nerd making us eat our words though, Major. Is he 6-4 with the sniper?
Yeah, and David's 1 away from streaks, and there you go, Glide Bomb looking for the second. Oh, not going to quite be able to grab the 6th in a row. Now Chica and Typical Nerd are the last 2 up. Flux Emerald, a very quick set of exchanges, and another pick from Typical Nerd as he manages to grab his 7th kill with the sniper rifle. I think only one of them might have been with a pistol. Typical Nerd, though, not going to be able to grab a second on that occasion. So now it is going to be Chica. We'll get the bomb plant down, but he's got a difficult job here up against Mudge and Johnny.
Yeah, two very, very intelligent players, two very straight shooters. This is going to be incredibly difficult. He's going to try and get himself a little bit of information and get himself right the way down. The question is, are they going to be able to read this? It doesn't look like they are. So this would be a big moment, an easy
Ooh.
two-piece potentially. Johnny W's got a lot of work to do here. As the information is going to be there with Chica, and Chica's been absolutely awesome all game.
Oh,
Oh my days! How does he get his head ripped off like that? Johnny W with an absolutely laser beam across that dockside. And he's going to get the defuse, and that's what you get when you pick up a challenges level player.
yeah, and it was just battle of the nades in that one. You could see they were both cooking it for each other, but Johnny W manages to make it work. And we've had a couple of these, Pablo. I do apologise for your ears. And I've also had somebody ask that I do one as well, so I do apologise for anyone who is not wanting to hear this. But, you know, the chat gets what the chat wants, so... Two! There you go. Vitalize Black. 4-2 up now. I do apologise. The ears violation is real with that one. But yeah, Vitalize Black, really big round from them. And yeah, Johnny's also coming to the picture now as well with 3 in that round. So these are the kind of players they'll obviously be looking to, especially in the Search and Destroy. And they're making it count now.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just dominating a little bit now. Fluxx Emerald just look a bit out of ideas if they don't get the first pick or the first 2 picks. And I mean, typical Nerd has done everything he can to give them that advantage. But right now, if they're not getting those picks, that's a huge kill. Again, Rutter does get traded out. And that's one thing the boys from Vitalize Black are doing very, very well is getting those trades. And right now, Chica left in almost exactly the same position as he has to do a 1v3. He does get a pick on Smudge, so that's going to be important. But it still does leave the 2 challenger boys in Aroma and JW. So it's going to be a tricky one for him, and I think the chase is on. I think Aroma knows where he is.
Yeah, Gabe's going for... I think he's going for an assassination. It's Gabe, isn't it? Oh, no, never mind. He just shot him in the back. So Vitalize 5-2 up now, looking very clean here in the search. 1 round away from going 2-0 up. And you don't want to call it too soon, Pabs, but if they do get this map, you do worry for Fluxx in this series.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you're rocking into a hard point next, and it's definitely the preferred ground there. We go into a Gavutu, which is, you know, you've got to consider that you've got to play like F dot on the side. You can definitely get a glide bomb within, you know, the 2 first hills, and then if they're able to get control of that P3, man, that's going to be a potentially a 100-second lead straight away. So a lot of work to do from the boys from Fluxx Emerald. We're writing them off already. You know, there's still potentially rounds to go in this, but you've got to be thinking that they're going to be thinking about Gavutu fairly soon and the things that they need to do. And it's not an easy map to dominate against a team as skilled as this.
Yeah, and Karen bomb straight on the head of typical Nerds. So Gabe manages to use the streaks well. Another streak coming through for him now, 3 in a row. And follow as well. Thank you very much, buddy. Rutter does reply with 1 kill, so it is a 3 versus 3. The question, when they potentially try and make the push here. F-Dot is just lurking outside the bomb. Going to make the move. Beaker's managed to take down Gabe with a nade, so it's now going to be 2 versus 2, but now it's going to be
a big kill.
2 versus 1. F-Dot needs to go huge here. Rutter spots him, and Rutter manages to grab a couple of kills in that round, and Fluxx Emerald, they're down but not out, Pablo. Obviously, they've still got 3 more to go, but that's a big round for them.
Yeah, and we said it before, you know, if Rutter can stay alive and he doesn't get picked off too early, he can be such a bonus to the team. He invariably gets 1 or 2 kills if he manages to get deep into the round. So I think that's one of the things you probably need to think about. Typical Nerd, if he can get a pick, if Rutter can stay alive a little bit longer. Your problem right there is DB just having an absolute shocker right now at 1-7. I think if you could get more involved with the game, potentially get either the first blood or even just, you know, get a trade, it would be great for the Fluxx Emerald. But with only 1 round needed, it's not looking great for them. But let's not write them off. They did 6-0 last time. That's very aggressive, though, that, mate. That was probably not the choice to make against the team on match point.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to commend them for bravery. Running straight at this team is a decision that not many people would make. And Rutter, the man not lacking in any aggression, going to try and potentially work a pick. So now 2 versus 4. Bombs down. Chica, though, with nice shots, manages to take down 1. Johnny W, though, there for the trade. Mr. Reliable now leaves Rutter 1 versus 3. And a lot of work to do here. I think he's been spotted. Yeah, Johnny's definitely spotted him. He's going out the back. He's gone to meet him head on. Rutter manages to take down 1, but with 20 seconds remaining on the clock, it's looking all but inevitable here. So difficult now in this situation. 13 seconds left. I think he's just resigned to the fact that he's not going to get this one. Looking for some beam. Ooh, almost managed to do it. Oh, no, Gabe! Oh, Gabe! I'm sure the fans that call him out are going to hate to see that one and love it at the same time. Vitalize Black, they're going to get the map win regardless. Pabs 6-3 and now go 2-0 up.
Yeah, and they almost look like they were cruising at times. They just look a very, very laid-back game. I know Rutter goes off at the end, and it's just not enough. But I mean, Smudge between F. Smudge and you know, they just had an outstanding performance. Johnny W getting 9 in the end, and Gabe again just playing really well. But yeah, they just look like they were cruising through that map. It didn't look under any real pressure, and what an absolute kind of juxtaposition to the previous Bale and S&D that we saw.
Yeah, so now Vitalize. They are going to go 2-0 up in the best of 5, 1 away from the infamous 3-0 Pabs. I mean, are you really putting anything past them at this stage? Because they had phases where it looked as though they were not toying with their food, but they weren't really going for it as much as might have potentially have thought. But I mean, they come out with the map win, it seems, regardless of what they do.
Yeah, I think there was a few kind of unnecessary chases there. I think they were looking for executions and playing with the food a little bit. But I think in Gavutu it's slightly different. I think they're probably the key here is that you've got to keep F. from getting those glide bombs early doors and try and get control depending on where you start. Try and get those big points over towards P1 and P2 as early as possible to give you that fighting chance. Because I think once Vitalized Black start to get control of that beach and then the far radar kind of hill, then you're screwed essentially. Another big thing to watch out for is obviously whoever's going to decide to take that top boat and just dominate mid-map is going to be, you know, super important as well. So I expect to see the likes of Johnny W potentially taking that role and just dominating, but we'll see how it goes. And obviously we've seen this before from huge teams with huge skill disparity. The game can still be quite wild, and you know, you would expect Rota to still kind of energize his team, and hopefully they'll try and get us at least one map.
Yeah, I think this is now a situation where you don't like to call things too soon, but like if you say, if it goes to P3, Vitalize have got early time and they've got a streak of some form, that's usually the kickstart in a Gavutu hardpoint where teams really just snowball it. That P3 to P4 over to P5,
Yeah.
if you can juggle them well, which you would assume when they've got Johnny W and Gabe on the team, they're pretty much going to be calling out the rotation as and when they need to and making the big decisions. So you would assume they will be on top of their game. And Fluxx Emerald, to be fair, they've done their best in this one. You can see they've had moments where they look as though they're doing well, and then I think it's just the consistency of this four in terms of ability. They just don't really seem to give them much breathing space at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to put two reasonably gifted players in with F. and Smudge of any caliber, they're going to be a good side. But when you consider who they have got alongside them, it just becomes really difficult to break them down. They've got good map knowledge, the communications are going to be on point, and more importantly, they're not like super greedy when it comes to the hill time. They get the hill time they need and rotate. And we saw it in the first hard point where they were getting 35-40 seconds, and then they were quite happy to let the team have the hill for the remainder. That's why the score ended up being kind of like 135 to 250. I think if they played even more aggressively, they could have made that a larger gap between the two sides. But Gavutu, yeah, it really does. This map plays to the strengths of Vitalized Black. You know, very fast play. You know, play the lives really well, get streaks, control the hills with the streaks. I mean, this potentially could be a really, really difficult game for Fluxx Emerald.
Yeah, so now, guys, we are getting underway for the Gavutu here. Can the boys of Fluxx Emerald start something special on this map? Looking as though Vitalized Black, they are not messing around in this one, in this winners semi-final game. So now just loading into everyone's map that they love to hate, apart from Bocage. It's definitely one, perhaps, that the maps like this that some teams hate, the ones that practice it seem to be very, very good at it. We saw it obviously in the Challengers broadcast. There were some teams that looked very good on this map. Obviously, when you don't like a map, you tend not to practice it as much, I suppose. But some teams look really good on Gavutu.
I think it's not that they don't practice it as much, because obviously a lot of the teams will just rotate all the hard points. It's just whether they put the effort into the angles that you need to get, or the little cheeky places that you need to get into. And I think this was the first outlier map that we saw where teams started to scrim this one, or not scrim it, but play it with a bit more gusto. And if you think about great Smudge up top, there we go. I said Johnny W, and Smudge is there. Map control is disgusting. But you know, go back to Challengers Cup 1, and we saw Gavutu start to come in. Is he going to miss at any point? He's on a 3 streak from a reasonably exposed position, and F. as well is absolutely beaming. And this is what we said earlier on: don't give them streaks. You cannot give them streaks. You know, you feed the beast, it's gonna. That's so important, that kill, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that can't be underestimated, because that was one away from the glide there. Johnny looking also to grab some streaks. Is going to, I think, Rutter on the head with a nade there. Doesn't kill him though. There's some early time going in favour of both teams, but now the rotation over towards Bo. F-Dot is going to be here. Gabe's on a 3 as well, so we'll see how much they try and prioritise those streaks here. F-Dot still looking for a kill. Gabe's going to get taken down as well, so they are going to manage to work a 4-man wipe here, Fluxx Emerald, and it's a good start here. They at least stop the streaks. They're now soaking up some time, but they just need to keep this going consistently now and potentially give right streaks because 2 away.
Yeah, this is exactly how they needed to play it. They needed to make sure that they didn't feed the beast at all, that team didn't get any streaks, so they can't control that P3, and they've been set up almost really solidly on those first 2 kills. This is a good chunk of time to take, and the question is, though, when you've got players like Smudge as accurate as he has been, you know, you've got to keep up with that caliber of player now for the next, you know, potential 2.5, 3 rotations. So big moments due to come, and you can already see Gabe in that troop carrier just sat waiting to try and soak up as much time. That's quite a wide spread as well from Vitalized Black, looking to get those picks as far out as possible so that they can take that early chunk of time. And I guess when you might get down to that 22nd point, you're potentially going to see Vitalized Black just start, you know, lessening that grip as they look to try and get control over towards the other side of the beach.
Yeah, now we're going to see that glide bomb. Gabe, how fast are your ankles, mate? Not going to be able to dodge it. He can't manage to work his way out of that one, and Chica manages to make that one work as well as he grabs a pick. So now the all-important kills are going to be coming up next. They've managed to get Typical Nerd inside the hill, and that is pretty much what Fluxx Emerald needed to do with that streak. That is pretty much the perfect use of the glide bomb, and Chica, whoa, 8 in a row, shredding through Vitalized Black at the moment. And this is what they needed from him, Pablo. They needed him just to wake up a little bit, and that's exactly what he's doing now.
Yeah, we pointed him out as being a potential, you know, star player for this team after this performance against Iniquity, baby. But had a bit of a quiet one, had a really shocker when it came down to S&D, but he's played so well. This is the Chica we saw in that first game, and he's just absolutely dominating on a 9 streak. This is, you know, Metals level performances, but he needs to make it count, and they've done so well in the first 3 rotations. This is going to be a big break right now.
Yeah, so now Johnny W just set up he just absolutely erased Rutter there at that point. He was so weak as well. Johnny manages to grab a kill, looking for another onto Typical Nerd, and he does manage to do that as well. So the boys have Vitalized Black now, looking to try and get a foothold with the help of this next hill, but DB inside manages to take down one, looking for the second onto Johnny W. It's getting a little bit messy, but F-Dot out the back, still anchoring, not allowing them any sort of aggression to push through. And now Gabe is just in prime position here to watch the cross and try and stop those players from transitioning over. And I think he might have made a really good read here, potentially onto DB. Well, no, I think he might be just right. It's actually shot in the back, unfortunately. But a good hold on that hill from Vitalized Black. But now the race to the rotation, you can already see Fluxx Emerald, are they going to prioritise it here? They've got to be careful not to push too far here, because you can already see Smudge is actually going on the rotation, and I think they might have overextended a little bit too much here.
Yeah, it does look like they were a little slow in the transition. Probably should have given away a bit of time if they were going to commit so heavily to P5. Smudge already waiting, but what a big brain play from Aroma. He sits kind of like off that like P1 rock, and he just cuts through players as they try and transition into the front. And again, a little bit of a lack of discipline from the team in Fluxx Emerald, as they did kind of kill feed the front of that hill. But huge play out of them, and it's been really good to see them break this hill, you know, break Vitalized Black time and time again. The question is now, can they maintain that hold now? And the other question really is, can they maintain the energy levels required to stay on board with them? Because right now it is looking toe to toe so far.
Yeah, and F-Dot's starting to really come into a game of his own here now. 15 and 7. Not a huge amount of time on the hill, but when he's just cutting through players one after the other, you can just leave him to it and just know that he's watching every single angle that he needs to. And big time for Fluxx Emerald to push them past the 100-point mark. And all nice shots there from Typical Nerd to take him down. So we go back over towards the P1. Smudge inside the hill. Rutter with a really big engagement there. Deletes him off the map. Gabe is going to be there for the trade, though. Not going to be there the second, though. Onto Typical Nerd. So Fluxx Emerald now in a good position. Hold a decent amount of time on this P1. The contest is going to be there from Johnny W, but now I suppose this is the position, Pablo, where they just need to kind of keep this going. Like you mentioned, they had a bit of a strong start at the beginning. Vitalized Black came back into it, but now they're in a really good position now as they get some more kills, and F-Dot last man up to get a big amount of time here from this P1, which isn't easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done such a good job across all the hills, really, just to maintain this lead. And again, they have turned these kills into time, which is one thing we talk about. Again, DB, you know, he's having a bit of a shocker in terms of kills, but he's got a solid minute on the hill, which is what you want to see. We didn't really see that from him in the previous series, where he did have kind of a slower game, and it's been really good to see him just pick that up with good support from Chica. Again, Typical Nerd just trying to do his best. He's only a few off being double neg, but he has got 42 seconds. So again, playing really well, and you know, as a foundation rotation for the other two players who were going off in Rutten and Chica. That's allowed them just to get 40 seconds clear. And they've played well so far. And again, they're looking to get this boat control. So, you know, going toe-to-toe, but not just that, just staying their nose in front. And it's going to require a lot of energy. But I think they might just be able to do it and, you know, just keep the boys from Vitalized back quiet and back. Because we haven't seen them get, you know, more than a 3 streak together in the last few hills.
Yeah, so F dot, no streak's going to come through for him anytime soon as he will fall. Johnny W, though, big pick, managed to take down one. They've still got another man in the hill, but typical nerd, he's going to fall on Johnny. He's just watching the top of the bridge here. Goes for one, goes for the second as well, and fries them both. Good work from Johnny once again. Will spot DB transitioning in, so him being incredibly one-shot, his teammates pick up the pieces. As he's just being a pain here, keeping his head down. Rutter going to try and transition over now, but falls once again into the sight of Johnny W. And that time now is starting to be reduced now from Fluxx Emerald. That the lead that they managed to build is slowly starting to disappear. They will get back on the scrap time, though. They clear Smudge off of the hill, but now the all-important rotation. I don't believe they've got any streaks. Oh, no, Chica's actually still got his streaks, so this could potentially be a moment for them if they use it smartly enough like they did the last time to break the hill and get more time.
Yeah, and now the question really comes down to, do Vitalized Black realise that he's got the strafe and the glide? So that's going to be a big question, and is that going to affect how they play this hill? I don't think it is. They've already just popped F-Dot into there. He is a very, very accurate player, so you would expect him some flying shots coming from Smudge. Chica is going to put that in, and he is going to be able to bring F-Dot out, and now they need to take advantage of that and make that move, otherwise that could be quite a wasteful glide bomb. So need to get them picks. Johnny W doing an absolutely awesome piece of work towards the back of that True Kaya, and ultimately that glide bomb. You know, if you are going to get into the hill, you do need to at least contest so they don't get the time, and this is going to be vital for Fluxx Emerald if they want to maintain the lead.
Yeah, Rutter going to keep his head down. There's still 2 players lurking near him. Can they break him out? And they can. Smudge with another big kill coming through for Vitalized Blacks. The scrap time going to go in their favour. And now Gabe, once again, on the rotation, playing a couple of steps ahead of Fluxx Emerald, so they're going to have to try and break into the hill once more. Gabe spots Rutter up top. There's a free pick. Manages to grab his 21st kill of the respawn, and he's just pushing this one out as he manages to catch off DB as well. And I suppose the aggression sometimes in this situation, Paolo, is Gabe's going on a bit of a tear here. They just don't expect him to be so far pushed up, and he is catching out so many players with timing.
Yeah, and he's done this before. He did this in the previous rotation where he was in an unusual position. He was able to catch them out. He was able to get picks. And the other thing is they think they want to fight from the front now because they realise that they want that P5 control. So big moment right now. If they're able to get any time on this, this could be a huge moment for Vitalized Black. And you can see them get that picks. And again, F-Dot Smudge and then F-Dot again getting the picks. But typical nerd goes off, and that could be huge as well. But it is going to be Vitalized Black spawning out. That might actually play in as you see that split spawns. Yeah. This could be a moment with a huge amount of time still left, 10 seconds, but a great defense, and that's one thing you do see out of these top sides. They are able to defend stoutly with only a few players.
Yeah, so now nothing separating these guys as of yet. F-Dot, though, looking for a bit of a tear himself. Only able to grab one. The trades coming through. Typical Nerd and Chica going to clear out a couple of players, but you can see the blue arrows. They're still lurking. They're still spawning out the back as well. Chica going to do well to stay alive here. F-Dot knows he's out the back. Can't manage to grab the kill, though. But when are they going to try and push into the guys on the hill? Because they're really struggling at the moment. Fluxx Emerald just to get someone in the hill. Those blue arrows, they're still spawning over towards the corner. Gabe just waiting for someone to try and potentially chal out. He's just going to wait for a teammate to get on the hill, but now, is he going to strike now? Typical Nerd waiting for him, not going to grab any more kills. This Gabe, as Johnny is now going to be the last one nearby. They do have a spawning Smudge still relatively close, and they're still spawning out the back here, so Fluxx Emerald, by not pushing out the back quick enough, they're kind of giving themselves a bit more work than they need to.
Windy shots as well, unfortunately, for Johnny W. Big plays by DB, who's had a reasonably good game so far. He's getting a lot of time and a lot of luck, but a lot of his kills are coming in defense of the hill, so they're vital kills as well. And that's just going to pull Fluxx Emerald's nose just about in front to a 1-189, and it's still a lot of work for them to do. But they've been successful on this P1 time and time again, so this is actually a big moment for Vitalized Black. If they want to see this game out here or potentially go into that map 4, they're going to have to come at this P1 with some gusto and some verve as well. And you can see Terrence going off there. Big 3 there for the Roamer as he does get dropped finally. 27 and 20 though, with a solid 48 seconds. So big performance from him. But look at that man, F-Dot 30 and 22. And if Vitalized Black are to come good, it is going to put a lot of the acclaim at the feet of F-Dot with nearly a minute of time as well.
Yeah, and Fluxx Emerald, I'm pretty sure they called in that strafing run, and it's not going to catch any single players out. Gabe still fighting for some scrap time. Big one-on-one, and Gabe able to win it. There's still going to be another man in DB ready for the contest. Gabe, can he work some magic here? He's going to spot him. Not going to tag him up just yet. Now, when is DB going to come through? Gabe just trying to bait out the player to move, and he does manage to do it.
Such a clever player.
Big plays there from Gabe, just waiting to say, no, run away, buddy. And then, nope, I'm still here. Manages to grab the kill, and now Vitalize Black, they're on the hill, and this is the worry, Pablo, because they can actually win off this hill if they can do enough just to stop those players transitioning over, and the boys in green, they need some big kills now.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you've got Smudge and Johnny W absolutely beaming kids from high positions, then this is a huge worry. They need every kill to count, or this could entirely go the wrong way for Fluxx Emerald. We do see trades go back and forth, but they need to get a toe on the hill. And right now, that's not happening. Who's there? F-Dot with the 5-piece. Rutter, again, the big brains. He's going to steam on it and get his foot on there. He needs to play his life now. Smudge does drop on him with 3 seconds remaining. I think this could be it for Fluxx Emerald. Major, what a performance from some of the best new rookies coming out of the ACCL and some of the more experienced challenger players.
So Vitalize Black, unsurprisingly, a good performance from them in the Gavutu. Not the prettiest of maps by their standards, but they managed to get it done, and even with typical nerd in the kill cam, unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to stop the Vitalize Black train. They will manage to progress in towards that winner's final, but regardless of how it was, Pablo, there were some good maps in that one. Obviously, the Gavutu could have gone either way. That first map was a bit of a blowout. The Search and Destroy as well, a little bit one-sided. But fair play to Fluxx Emerald. They put up as much of a fight as it seemed they possibly could. But they weren't quite able to see it through against this roster.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it might be a 3-0 from the start, but they put up some good numbers. The first map was obviously quite difficult to Tusk and Hardpoint, and they did get dealt quite a vicious blow. I think the S&D was a weird one. They looked like they were doing quite well to start with, going 2-0 up and at the beginning, but then just dropping so many rounds in succession. And again, I think that came down to a handful of rounds where Rutter got dropped initially, and then he was able to, when he stayed within the deeper parts of the round, he was able to get picks, but it was just not enough. Gavutu, I think they've got to take solace from the fact that they did go toe-to-toe, right to the wire almost with the boys from Vitalize Black. But again, you just always feel like there's an extra gear in there somewhere, whether it be F-Dot, Smudge or one of the challenger lads. So just a big performance from Vitalize Black, and you're quite right, Vitalize Black management got to be really pleased having those 4 players playing for them right now.
Yeah, so a big congratulations there to Vitalize Black. 3-0 will be the end of that one, and the bracket currently, as you can see, now updated. Big shout out to Prezi there for doing that one as soon as possible. So Vitalize Black, they will go through into that winners final, where they will play the boys of Incentive Esports, and Fluxx going to drop down to play London Varsity. So with this roster, Pablo, I mean, with Fluxx Esports, I mean, the way they have played, I'm not really too worried about them as of yet. I think if they can come together again, regroup and get kicking in that losers bracket, it wouldn't surprise me if we see them progress further in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they can get DB firing on all cylinders again, that's a player that did have some good games against Iniquity Baby, but then just went off the boil a little bit. I think, again, if you can get Chica rocking as well, we know Rutter's always going to play reasonably well, and especially if he can stay deep in the rounds in S&D, and it's just getting those other lads up to speed. Again, not potentially a good test at the start. They did so well against who was often regarded as a solid team in Iniquity Baby, but obviously that's probably a little bit too much of a challenge for them this early in their formation.
Yeah, so GG's there for both teams, and hopefully going to work if it allows me to. There you go. So yeah, the replays, guys, now going to be up on the stream. Big GG's there to both teams. Congratulations there to Vitalize Black. They will progress through the bracket. Fluxx Emerald will unfortunately be knocked down into the losers bracket. And a big thank you to everyone who has come through, followed, been in the chat. Obviously, a bit of an honour to cast, obviously, the likes of Aroma, the likes of Johnny W, and these kind of quality players. We have been blessed with it recently. So a big GG's there to everyone, and thank you to everyone who has tuned in. I think we hit an absurd amount of numbers towards the end of that game. So a big shout out to everyone who has come in the Goob army to support, obviously, one of Call of Duty's finest. And a huge shout out as well to my man, Mr. Pablo, for joining me, Pabs. I mean, another good set of series this evening. Obviously, the boys have Vitalize Black a bit of a peak in that one, but nonetheless, we've seen some good players as per usual in the ACCL Division 1.
Mate, we're just getting the best kind of entertainment. This kind of level of Call of Duty coming out of the ACCL just shows how far it's progressed. It's been an absolute pleasure, as ever, to be back on the stream with you. And apologies, hopefully, at some point, this cold's going to go away, so I don't end up with the, what did Seymour say, smooth brain, because right now I'm not forming whole sentences properly, and things just aren't coming as smoothly as they would do normally. But thank you for having me on board again, mate, and it's always a pleasure to cast the ACCL. Prezi's little absolute work of magic so far in the COD community.
Yeah, so we'll quickly have a look, see if there is anyone that we can raid. It doesn't look as though anyone. Oh, I'll tell you what, Mr. Luca. Let's give Luca a raid. Everyone loves
There you
Luca.
go.
We'll raid Luca. There isn't currently anyone live, so we'll drop Luca a raid, show him some love. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Luca is, anyways, in the community. He's a big personality. Let's make sure I get this right, and we raid the right person. Luca, I believe it is. Triple check. I'm absolutely paranoid now that I'll windy this. But yeah,
You're going to just absolutely bombard some poor streamer who wasn't affiliated with like
yeah, he's
300
like, it would be
viewers.
somebody who's not even live. But yeah, if you guys can all hop on the raid. Oh, sure.
Please don't say it to my face. I know you wanna let go.
Well, yeah, a huge thank you to everyone who's dropped by. And from myself and Pabs, I'll speak on behalf of us to say that you guys make this so much better for all of us in the scene. So a big thank you to everyone who's come through, old and new. And we will be back very, very shortly, I believe tomorrow, for some more ACCL action. And we will catch you guys then. Cheers, guys.
This time I took it too far. Come on, darling, have a little faith. Come on, darling, have a little faith. There's no need for us to walk away. We'll find another way. If we just